Chapter 272. Buzz. Everything in the world carried yin and embraced yang. After the divine essence of sun and the divine essence of sun merged into his Dantian Qi Si, the illusory Taiji diagram instantly solidified as if it had taken a great tonic. A mysterious wave spread out. The balance between the sky-devouring spiritual seed and the Taiji diagram was instantly broken. The sky-devouring spiritual seed was directly wrapped by the Taiji diagram. Rumble. In Ling Zhao's Dantian Qi Si, the sky-devouring qi was surging. As the evil qi of yin and yang was devoured, it became more violent. A mysterious force of yin and yang flowed in Ling Zhao's blood vessels. It began to cleanse his bones and fill up his life source. This was an evolution of life level. The mystery of the sky-devouring secret skill flashed in Ling Zhao's mind and turned into an indescribable power of law. He began to comprehend it. After Ling Zhao swallowed and refined the evil qi of yin and yang, his blood vessels began to be contaminated with yin and yang qi. The power of the earth dragon body became stronger and stronger. It was about to reach a limit. Shrouded in yin and yang qi and bathed in golden light, Ling Zhao sat cross-legged in the yin-yang pool. His black hair fluttered in the wind. With a faint smile on his face, he exuded a mysterious and transcendent temperament. There was no need to look with the naked eye. It was as if Ling Zhao had already disappeared from this world. His entire being was untainted by the dust of the mortal world. He was like a young divine king, with the appearance of a divine being. Ling Zhao's aura returned to normal. A large amount of yin and yang qi was devoured by him. A mysterious wave spread out. Ling Zhao's body was undergoing the most mysterious transformation. Hong Sha was seriously injured by Ling Zhao in the underground karst cave. However, in the yin-yang pool, after devouring the yin and yang qi, his injuries began to heal at a speed visible to the naked eye. His aura became stronger and stronger. A day later, a powerful wave spread out. Hong Sha's cultivation had reached LV6 of the Supreme Power Realm. The yin and yang qi of yin and yang is indeed wonderful. At this speed, I am confident that I can break through to LV7 of the Supreme Power Realm in 3 days. Hong Sha's eyes revealed a trace of excitement. There was a barrier between LV6 and LV7 of the Supreme Power Realm. If he cultivated at a normal speed, it would take him at least half a year to break through. But now, under the influence of the yin and yang qi of yin and yang, his cultivation speed had increased by hundreds of times. Furthermore, Hong Sha sensed that after refining the yin-yang baneful aura, his innate ability was beginning to transform towards greater mastery. The gray light on his body was gradually turning bronze. When Hong Sha became bronze, his bronze battle body would be able to complete bronze battle body. With the bronze battle body at the grand completion stage, his fists could shatter mountains, his feet could split the heavenly river, and he could overturn rivers and seas. His power was unparalleled, and his defense was almost invincible. Hong Sha was LV. Ling Zhao, you will die when my bronze battle body is fully developed. Hong Xiu, you can only be mine. Hong Sha glanced at Ling Zhao coldly. His eyes were filled with murderous intent. Boom! Hong Sha wasn't the only one. After cultivating in the yin-yang pool for a day, Huang Yunji, Ji Shuiyao, Chen Fengdao, and the others all felt the aura of a breakthrough. The main benefit of cultivating in the yin-yang pool was not to increase one's cultivation, but to cleanse one's bones and improve one's talent. Li Qingfeng broke through to LV3 of the Supreme Power Realm. Xia Hongxiu's talent was the most terrifying. She was like a tiger that had grown wings in the yin-yang pool. She broke through 2 levels in 1 day and reached LV3 of the Supreme Power Realm. Moreover, after breaking through to LV3 of the Master Realm, Xia Hongxiu's body emitted a mysterious aura. She was surrounded by a layer of blazing aura, and a mysterious mark faintly appeared between her eyebrows. Qing Qing's cultivation had broken through to LV4 of the Supreme Power Realm. Only the Lu siblings did not break through, although their aura was also increasing. Just when everyone was ready to continue breaking through, there was a change in the yin-yang pool. Boom! There was a sudden clap of thunder in the void and the entire yin-yang pool began to boil. The yin and yang qi surged violently and mysterious rays of light scattered. They began to gather crazily and turned into a huge vortex in the yin-yang pool. Everyone felt that there was no way to refine the yin and yang qi anymore because all of it was taken away by the mysterious force. It was like a bottomless pit that began to devour everything. What's going on? The expressions of Chen Fengdao, Hong Sha, and the others changed drastically. Their eyes were filled with bewilderment, especially Hong Sha. His bronze battle body was about to reach the great completion realm. When that time came, he would be able to defeat everyone and suppress all the geniuses. However, all of a sudden, the yin and yang qi was taken away by someone. He would feel terrible if he was killed. However, when they saw the huge whirlpool clearly, their noses became crooked from anger. The yin and yang qi flowed like two divine dragons, one black and one white. They formed a terrifying vortex in the middle of the yin-yang pool. All of the yin and yang qi surged towards a figure. That figure was like a bottomless pit. His aura was ethereal. The black vortex surged and devoured all of the yin and yang qi. That person was Ling Xiao. Everyone had just tasted the sweetness of refining the yin and yang qi, but Ling Xiao had already taken it away. This was worse than killing them. At Ling Xiao's speed, wouldn't all of the yin and yang qi be devoured by him? Ling Xiao's black hair fluttered in the wind. His whole body was shrouded in golden light. His face was peaceful and he was smiling. He looked like a smiling Buddha. He looked extremely mysterious. In Ling Xiao's Dantian Qi Si, the Tai Chi diagram had merged with the heaven-devouring spiritual seed. It faintly emitted a seven-colored light. It was enveloped by the heaven-devouring fire. Boom! Endless yin and yang qi was devoured by Ling Xiao and integrated into the Tai Chi diagram. Even the heaven-devouring true qi in his Dantian Qi Si began to burn. It seemed to have turned into a world of fire. In the blazing flames, a golden light flickered. The Tai Chi diagram was filled with chaotic mist. The golden light was dazzling. One could vaguely see a golden lotus growing. The power of the five elements filled the air. The yin and yang qi flowed. In the chaotic mist, it was extremely peaceful. However, there was a trace of terrifying power in the golden lotus. It seemed to be able to destroy the heavens. It contained the mysterious power of laws. At this moment, Ling Xiao's cultivation also began to skyrocket. Initial stage 5 Dragon Tiger Realm, intermediate stage 5 Dragon Tiger Realm, late stage 5 Dragon Tiger Realm, complete stage 5 Dragon Tiger Realm, 6th Dragon Tiger Realm. Ling Xiao's cultivation, which was originally calm, was rising at a speed visible to the naked eye. Chapter 273. Damn it. Ling Xiao has devoured all the yin-yang baleful qi. What should we do? Huang Yunji looked at Sun Feng with a gloomy face. Sun Feng's eyes were cold and his heart was filled with anger. He was about to break through, but all the yin-yang baleful qi was taken away. He was going crazy. Ling Xiao was sitting in the yin-yang pool, forgetting about everything around him. The yin-yang baleful qi surged towards his body. His cultivation was rising at a speed visible to the naked eye. Everyone was awakened by the commotion caused by Ling Xiao. They all stood up from the yin-yang pond and looked at Ling Xiao in shock. This kid, how can he be so abnormal? Hong Sha was shocked and angry. He could see that Ling Xiao's aura was getting stronger and stronger. In just a few moments, his cultivation had risen from Dragon Tiger Realm level 5 to Dragon Tiger Realm level 6. Boom! Dragon Tiger Realm level 7. A peerlessly violent aura swept out in all directions, and all the yin and yang baleful qi was like the heavenly river flowing backwards, being swallowed by the terrifying vortex and transforming into a part of Ling Xiao's cultivation. Kill him. We can't let him continue to improve. Otherwise, we'll be finished when he wakes up. Sun Feng said coldly. There was a trace of coldness in his eyes. He felt uneasy. Ling Xiao was too strange. When Ling Xiao was at Dragon Tiger Realm level 5, he was already on par with him. Now that Ling Xiao's cultivation was getting higher, he might surpass him in the end. Sun Feng knew that he had tricked Ling Xiao once. The two of them were irreconcilable enemies. Moreover, he had the mission of killing Ling Xiao. He couldn't let Ling Xiao live. As the saying goes, take his life when he's weak. Now was the best chance to kill Ling Xiao. Sun Feng and Huang Yunji looked at each other and rushed towards Ling Xiao with killing intent in their eyes. Hong Sha and the rest of the people from the great Hong ancient country also rushed towards Ling Xiao under his lead. What are you doing? Qingqing's expression changed. She immediately stood in front of Ling Xiao with Cheng Feng, Xia Hongxiu and the rest. Sun Feng, Hong Sha, do you really want to fight in the Yinyang Valley? Ji Shuiyao's eyes flashed. She quickly led the people from the great Xin ancient country to confront Sun Feng, Hong Sha and the rest. Get out of my way. I'll kill anyone who tries to stop me today. Sun Feng's eyes were filled with coldness and bloodlust. The soul-chasing spear in his hand flashed with a sharp light. His entire body exuded a monstrous killing intent as he charged forward. This was a celestial realm expert. Even if his cultivation was suppressed in the 8 desolate secret land and he could only unleash the combat strength of a LV9 supreme power realm expert, he was still not someone the group of people in front of them could withstand. Ji Shuiyao's and Ling Qingqing's expressions changed when they sensed the powerful aura. Now is the critical moment of Ling Xiao's breakthrough. We must not let him disturb Ling Xiao. Determination flashed through Ling Qingqing's eyes. A resplendent sword appeared in her hand as she charged towards Sun Feng. Attack together. Ji Shuiyao also gritted her teeth and exuded a sharp sword energy. She led the grand mysterious ancient kingdom's people forward. They all knew that this was a life and death battle. Everyone was racing against time to kill each other. It depended on whether Sun Feng would be the first to break through the blockade and kill Ling Xiao, or whether Ling Qingqing and the rest would block Sun Feng and wait for Ling Xiao to wake up. Young Master Qin, should we attack? Tang Xian glanced at Chen Fengdao and asked carefully. Chen Fengdao's gaze fell on Ling Xiao in the distance. He was a little uncertain. In just a short while, Ling Xiao's cultivation had risen to LV8 Dragon Tiger realm. For some reason, even though Chen Fengdao had refined the bone of the Heavenly Saber King and his cultivation had risen to LV5 Supreme Power realm, he was still very nervous. It was as if there was a fatal danger on Ling Xiao. If he dared to act rashly, he would definitely die without a burial place. We won't attack. Wait. Chen Fengdao gritted his teeth and said, if Sun Feng could kill Ling Xiao in the end, it would make no difference whether he attacked or not. However, if Sun Feng couldn't kill Ling Xiao, it would be useless even if he attacked. Therefore he chose to bide his time. As for the cold-looking young man sent by the first prince, a strange black light flashed in his eyes when he saw everyone fighting. His figure slowly sank into the yin-yang pool, and no one noticed him at all. Boom! The soul-chasing spear emitted a monstrous killing intent. It swept across the sky and formed a huge black spear shadow in the void. It was like a collapsing pillar that suppressed Ling Qingqing, Ji Shuiyao, and the rest. Under the soul-chasing spear, all the sword radiance, sword energy, and innate protective energy were shattered. A terrifying aura swept across the surroundings, causing Ling Qingqing, Ji Shuiyao, and the rest to cough up blood and retreat. There was no helping it. The gap between them was too big. Ling Qingqing, Ji Shuiyao, and the rest were geniuses, but Sun Feng was a celestial realm expert. With a sweep of his spear, they were all sent flying. Ling Xiao, go to hell! Sun Feng's eyes were burning with killing intent. The soul-chasing spear in his hand trembled slightly and turned into a black flowing light that swept across the sky toward Ling Xiao. No! Stop! Ling Qingqing, Ji Shuiyao, and the rest were shocked. They struggled to stop Sun Feng, but they were blocked by Hong Sha, Huang Yunji, and the rest in an instant. There was no way for them to take a step forward. Boom! At this moment, Lu Feng and Lu Yun, who were beside Ling Xiao, moved. A dark and cold aura was emitted from their bodies. The shyness on their faces faded, and they became cold and indifferent. A blue dagger appeared in their hands. One from the left and the other from the right, they stabbed toward Ling Xiao's heart and head. The sudden turn of events stunned everyone. No one had expected the Lu siblings of the Great Desolation Ancient Kingdom to suddenly attack Ling Xiao. The aura on their bodies was cold and strange. Their cultivation had reached LV9 of the Grandmaster realm in an instant. The two daggers emitted a blue light, which was obviously dipped in poison. The Lu siblings and Sun Feng, 3 LV9 experts of the Grandmaster realm, attacked at the same time. How could Ling Xiao, who was still cultivating, resist? Qing Qing, Xia Hongxiu, Ji Shuiyao, and the rest turned pale in an instant. The two daggers and the soul-chasing spear pierced toward Ling Xiao's head, heart, and glabella respectively. They were as fast as lightning, leaving no chance for people to react. Clang. The sound of metal clashing was heard. The daggers and the soul-chasing spear arrived one after another. However, when they came within an inch of Ling Xiao's body, they could not move forward anymore. It was as if there was a layer of transparent bounded domain that emitted a faint light. What? Sun Feng and the Lu siblings were shocked. No matter how they urged the daggers and the soul-chasing spear, they could not cause any harm to Ling Xiao. It should be known that when 3 LV9 experts of the Grandmaster realm attacked with all their strength, even a celestial realm expert would die, let alone Ling Xiao. Chapter 274. Rumble. A blazing aura emanated from Ling Xiao's body. In an instant, a raging inferno was set ablaze. It emitted a mysterious 7-colored light which distorted the void. It contained a terrifying power that could burn the heavens and destroy the earth. The yin-yang pool began to boil, and a terrifying aura spread out. A golden lotus appeared on Ling Xiao's body. Golden light filled the air, and divine chains of order intertwined. They traversed the void and swept toward the dagger and the soul-chasing spear in the void. Boom! Terrifying flames spread out. The dagger and the soul-chasing spear were powerful treasured weapons, but at this moment, they began to melt at a speed visible to the naked eye. The Lu siblings and Sun Feng both let out a muffled snort at the same time and retreated. Only when my life is in my hands can I plant a golden lotus in the fire. A faint sigh came from Ling Xiao's mouth. At this moment, he opened his eyes. 2 blazing divine lights traversed the void, exuding endless majesty and mystery. The golden lotus swirled in the yin-yang pool, and instantly swept away all the yin-yang evil qi. Then, Ling Xiao swallowed it in one gulp. Ling Xiao stood up in the yin-yang pool. It was as if the entire world began to tremble. A vast force pressed down on the crowd, causing their hearts to tremble uncontrollably. Ling Xiao's cultivation had reached the peak of the 9th level of the Dragon Tiger realm. The underworld has indeed not given up on their evil intentions. It must have been hard on you 2 golden assassins to hold back for so long before making a move. Ling Xiao's gaze fell on Lu Feng and Lu Yun as he spoke calmly. Assassins from the underworld? Qing Qing and the rest trembled as they looked at Lu Feng and Lu Yun in disbelief. These two were famous young geniuses in the imperial capital. How could the children of the current prime minister be golden assassins from the underworld? Lu Feng stared fixedly at Ling Xiao and said, "How did you tell? We've disguised ourselves well. Even a celestial realm elite would not be able to discover us." Ling Xiao said calmly, "I don't know Lu Feng and Lu Yun very well, but I know that they are very outgoing in front of people they know even though they are shy. Coincidentally, Princess Hongxiu is their good friend. However, the 2 of you have been too shy along the way. Plus, Sister Qingqing and Li Chengfeng were heavily injured in the underground cave. Only the 2 of you, although you look like a mess, were unharmed. No matter how hard you try to hide, it's hard to change the habits of an assassin." Lu Yun's face was very cold, but there was a trace of shock in his eyes. He said, "Just this alone is probably insufficient to determine that we're assassins from the underworld, right?" "Of course not, that's why I'm just suspecting. Now, didn't you jump out yourselves?" Ling Xiao sneered. However, Ling Xiao was very alert. He could tell that Lu Feng and Lu Yun were assassins from the underworld not just because of those 2 reasons. The main reason was that after his spiritual power had broken through to the level of a peerless alchemy master, he sensed a very subtle aura from Lu Feng and Lu Yun. It was exactly the same as the assassins from the underworld that Ling Xiao had encountered. However, Lu Feng and Lu Yun were both at level 9 of the Grandmaster realm. Ling Xiao was not confident that he could take them down and was also afraid that he would accidentally hurt Ling Qingqing and the rest. That was why he waited for them to give themselves away. Ling Xiao, no matter what, you're going to die today. Sun Feng's eyes were cold as he exuded a powerful aura that suppressed Ling Xiao. There was shock in his heart, but there was also a hint of greed in his eyes. Ling Xiao had swallowed the yin and yang murderous aura so quickly, and his cultivation level had broken through from the 5th level of the Dragon Tiger realm to the 9th level of the Dragon Tiger realm. He must have a great treasure on him, or he must have cultivated an exceptional godly technique. As long as he killed Ling Xiao, the treasure on him would be his. No matter what, he could not let Ling Xiao walk out alive today. Ling Xiao, Xia Hongxiu is mine. That's why you have to die. Hong Sha sneered as well. His eyes were filled with a frenzied murderous intent. His body exuded a bronze radiance that gave people a strong sense of oppression. Although his bronze combat body had not reached the phenomenal level, it was much stronger than before. Now, he was confident that even if Ling Xiao performed the 4 elephants hitting the sky again, he would be able to take it. Lu Feng, Lu Yun, Sun Feng, and Hong Sha surrounded Ling Xiao. Their eyes were filled with murderous intent. Their goal was clear, and that was to kill Ling Xiao. In the face of these 4 powerhouses who had the combat strength of LV9 of the Grandmaster realm, Ling Xiao was not afraid at all. Instead, his eyes were filled with fighting spirit. Although the long-armed ape king might be able to get rid of the 4 of them quickly, Ling Xiao still wanted to do it himself. After cultivating level 2 of the Heaven-Devouring secret skill, condensing the Heaven-Devouring Golden Lotus, and reaching level 9 of the Dragon Tiger realm, Ling Xiao wanted to see how strong his current combat strength was. To Ling Xiao's surprise, Qin Fengdao remained silent and did not attack him. If that's the case, all of you can come at me together. Ling Xiao smiled faintly. His eyes were gleaming, and his white robe fluttered in the wind. Golden clouds surrounded his body, and he exuded an invincible aura. Although Ji Shuiyao and the rest were worried, they could see Ling Xiao's determination. Therefore, they did not help him but slowly retreated from the yin-yang pool. After all, this battle was beyond their ability to interfere. If they were to help, they would only be a burden to Ling Xiao. Arrogant! Sun Feng snorted. The murderous intent in his eyes seemed to have materialized. With a flash of light in his hand, a black golden battle spear appeared. He was exuding a fierce aura. Ling Xiao, don't blame others if you're courting death. Hong Sha sneered and took the initiative to attack. Although his cultivation was only at the 6th level of the Supreme Power Realm, he had practiced the Demonic Fist of Nirvana, a heaven-level inferior martial art. Moreover, he had awakened the bronze battle body, which made his combat strength unparalleled. Even an expert at the 9th level of the Supreme Power Realm would find it difficult to break his bronze battle body. Although Ling Xiao's 4 elephants hitting the sky was terrifying, Hong Sha was confident that he would be able to defeat him with the improvement of his cultivation and the evolution of his bronze combat body. Boom! Hong Sha threw out a punch. The void shook slightly, and endless demonic qi surged. The fist essence exuded a vast killing intent and suppressed Ling Xiao. Kill! Sun Feng also shouted. The black golden battle spear in his hand buzzed and vibrated. Strands of black light intertwined and instantly traversed the void, piercing toward Ling Xiao's glabella. Lu Feng and Lu Yun did not attack. Their figures were like ghosts, trembling slightly in the void. The murderous intent in their bodies intertwined, and they were looking for a chance to kill. Chapter 275. Boom! Ling Xiao threw out a punch and lightning surged in the void. The golden heaven-devouring true qi surged across the sky like a huge wave and swept away the surging demonic qi in an instant. Bang! Ling Xiao and Hong Sha hit each other with their fists. Although Hong Sha's conception of nirvana was very strong, it couldn't break through Ling Xiao's fist aura. There was a huge vibration in the void. Ling Xiao didn't move, but Hong Sha was blown away by Ling Xiao as if he was struck by lightning. The black golden battle spear emitted an ominous demonic qi and its speed was extremely fast. The soul-chasing spear art was famous for its speed. It could kill people without them noticing. Especially when Ling Xiao and Hong Sha collided, Sun Feng found the weak qi. The black golden battle spear pierced through the void and came to the back of Ling Xiao's head. The unparalleled sharpness sent chills down one's spine. Clang! Ling Xiao did not look back. He threw out a palm blade that contained a destructive force. It hit the black golden battle spear. Suddenly, there was a flash of light. Ling Xiao's monstrous divine power passed through the black golden battle spear to Sun Feng's arm. Sun Feng's arm went numb and the battle spear almost flew out of his hand. Swoosh swoosh. Ling Xiao's body was extremely fast. He moved freely in the void and fought with Hong Sha and Sun Feng with his bare fists. In the blink of an eye, they had exchanged dozens of blows. Hong Sha and Sun Feng were getting more and more shocked. They had attacked at the same time, but they were still at a disadvantage. Looking at Ling Xiao, it seemed that he still had some strength left. Even if his cultivation had increased by a few levels, how could this young man's combat strength increase so quickly? Heaven and earth grieve, demonic fist suppressing the world. Hong Sha's eyes were filled with madness. He suddenly roared and a terrifying demonic qi was emitted from his body. Endless demonic qi surged and turned into a blood-red color. It was as if the sky was crying blood. A terrifying demonic god appeared in the world and wreaked havoc. Hong Sha threw out a punch and the demonic qi surged. It formed a huge demonic fist in the void. It was like a divine mountain, emitting a monstrous demonic qi and pressing down on Ling Xiao. Tian class martial arts contained a trace of the power of law. Hong Sha's demonic fist suppressed the heaven and earth. Facing this fist, Ling Xiao could only take it head-on. There was no way he could dodge it. "Today, I'm going to break your tortoise shell." Ling Xiao sneered as a cold glint flashed in his eyes. The blood qi around Ling Xiao soared into the sky, turning into a golden divine dragon that coiled around his body. It was as if the power of an ancient ferocious beast had been awakened. Ling Xiao pushed the earth dragon constitution to the extreme. From the Yin-Yang Valley, an endless amount of Xianhuang earth energy surged towards Ling Xiao. It was thick and ancient. Ling Xiao looked up at the sky and was in high spirits. The power of the earth dragon body was fully unleashed. He was like an erupting volcano as he threw a punch at the Hong Sha in the sky. Rumble! The mountain-like demonic fist and the golden divine dragon collided in the void. It was like a sun had exploded, spewing out endless light. The demonic qi and the golden light were annihilated, but the golden divine dragon was still pressing down on the flood demon. Good chance. Sun Feng's eyes flashed, and he caught a glimpse of Ling Xiao's chaotic qi. The black gold battle spear in his hand trembled slightly, and a terrifying sharpness erupted. He held the black gold battle spear in his hand and formed a mysterious connection with the battle spear. It pierced through the void like a huge divine spear and shot straight toward Ling Xiao. Man and spear unite, soul-chasing spear skill. This was the man and spear unite that Sun Feng had comprehended. Once he unleashed the power of the man and spear unite, his battle strength would be multiplied, and his power would be unparalleled. Even an expert of the celestial realm would die without a doubt. The two sisters, Lu Feng and Lu Yun, found this opportunity at the same time. Killing intent flashed in their eyes, and they took action. Whoosh, whoosh. Two obscure figures flew, leaving a trace of faint afterimages in the void. Their auras were extremely weak, but the two daggers in their hands were like two poisonous snakes, trembling slightly and aiming at the vital parts of Ling Xiao's body. Rumble! Above the void, Ling Xiao's punch, which was like a peerless war god, actually missed. Hong Sha only left behind an afterimage. With a flash of light in the void, Hong Sha actually appeared behind Ling Xiao in an extremely strange manner. Ling Xiao, go to hell! The Hong Sha's bronze battle body shone brightly. His arms were like iron chains and he suddenly hugged Ling Xiao. Unparalleled divine power burst out and completely bound Ling Xiao. Just now, he pretended to fight Ling Xiao with his life, but in fact, it was just a smokescreen. After he performed the demonic fist of Nirvana, he took advantage of the dazzling light to directly teleport behind Ling Xiao with a secret treasure that could teleport him. What he wanted to do was to completely bind Ling Xiao, so as to give Sun Feng and the two ace assassins of the netherworld a chance. The bronze battle body burst out, and an ancient and boundless power flowed in the Hong Sha's body. It was like the power of heaven and earth, and even Ling Xiao could not break free for a moment. Sun Feng, Lu Feng, and Lu Yun had already arrived in front of him. What? Ji Shuiyao and Ling Qingqing were shocked, and their faces turned pale in an instant. They did not expect the Hong Sha to be so insidious. Ling Xiao was already in a desperate situation. How could he resist the killing blow of 3 experts of the LV9 Supreme Master Realm? Ling Xiao is dead. A trace of coldness appeared in Qin Fengdao's eyes. Although he was a little regretful that Ling Xiao did not die in his hands, this despicable guy was finally dead. No. Young Master Qin, look. Tang Xian's expression suddenly changed, and his voice trembled as he pointed to the void. Chen Fengdao immediately looked over. In the void, Sun Feng and Lu Yun performed the human spear unity, and Lu Feng and Lu Yun performed their unique assassination skills. They wanted to kill Ling Xiao when the Hong Sha restrained him. However, at this moment, just like before when the black gold battle spear and dagger came within an inch of Ling Xiao's body, they strangely stopped in their tracks, as if they were blocked by a transparent barrier. Idiots! I wanted to play with you for a while, but since you are so eager to die, I will fulfill your wish. 5-element sky sealing style, seal the 5 elements, suppress heaven and earth, kill. Ling Zhao's eyes showed a trace of mockery. Looking at the pale faces of Sun Feng and the others, he instantly roared. Boom! With Ling Xiao as the center, a vast divine light storm swept out. White, green, black, red, and yellow divine light shot up to the sky like pillars, forming a huge barrier around Ling Xiao. Chapter 276. Ling Zhao's heaven-devouring secret skill had reached the 2nd level. After condensing the heaven-devouring golden lotus, the heaven-devouring secret skill had many mysterious changes. More importantly, Ling Xiao could practice the 2nd and 3rd moves of the 7 limits divine skills of devouring heaven and destroying earth. The 2nd move, Heaven Sealing 5-element style. The Heaven Sealing formation was constructed with the origin of the 5 elements. It could hide one's aura, seal an expert, build an absolute defense, absorb all energy and dharma, and create an absolute vacuum. Just like when Ling Xiao was cultivating earlier, Sun Feng and the Lu siblings were unable to break through the layer of invisible barrier outside Ling Xiao's body. That was the absolute defense formed by the 5 elements heaven sealing style, isolating the outside world from the outside world and forming an independent whole. Now, with Ling Xiao as the center, the heaven-supporting 5 elements style formed an absolute vacuum. It absorbed all dharma and energy, and even the physical strength of Sun Feng and the others. It was extremely overbearing. Of course, the heaven-sealing 5-element style had to pay a terrible price. The heaven-devouring qi in Ling Zhao's body was almost exhausted. Only then could he resist the dharma of heaven and earth and maintain the absolute vacuum. Even so, Ling Xiao could not hold on for too long. Die! Ling Xiao did not dare to waste any time. His cold eyes fell on Hong Sha. His terrifying physical strength broke out, and he broke free from Hong Sha's restraint in an instant. Then he punched Hong Sha. Golden lightning exploded. Hong Sha's bronze battle body could no longer withstand Ling Zhao's terrifying punch. Countless spider webs appeared instantly, and Hong Sha was about to explode. You can't kill me. I am the son of Hong Ba, the king of Hong Ancient. If you kill me, Hong Ba will not let you go. Hong Sha spat out a mouthful of blood as he sensed the threat of death. His eyes were filled with extreme fear as he spoke. Hong Ba's son? Illegitimate son? Even so, you have to die. Ling Xiao sneered and punched again. The golden fist was like a divine dragon. It instantly penetrated Hong Sha's body and smashed his heart into powder. Hong Sha's eyes were filled with disbelief and horror. He fell from the void instantly. Hong Sha, one of the 4 experts, was dead. Ling Zhao's gaze then landed on Lu Feng, Lu Yun, and Sun Feng. Their expressions changed drastically as well, and without a second thought, they leaped out of the absolute vacuum's range. You want to leave? A cold light flashed in Ling Zhao's eyes. Whether it was Sun Feng or the assassins from the underworld, they were all on his must-kill list, so they had to die. 5 elements seal the sky, shatter the vacuum. Ling Zhao let out an explosive bellow, pointing one hand to the sky and the other to the ground. The 5 elements' heavenly pillars in the surroundings instantly collapsed like 5 flood dragons sweeping across the sky. The absolute vacuum instantly shattered, engulfing Sun Feng and the Lu siblings. No, Sun Feng roared, unwilling to give up. There was a hint of fear in his eyes. He was instantly engulfed by the shattering storm and disappeared into the void. Just as Lu Feng and Lu Yun were about to escape the absolute vacuum, they were instantly pulled in by a powerful force and disappeared into the void as well. Rumble! Heaven and earth shook, and lightning flashed. Bathed in golden divine light, Ling Zhao slowly walked down from the void. His eyes were like lightning, incomparably majestic. No one dared to look at him directly. Everyone's eyes were filled with horror. Hong Sha, who had the bloodline bronze battle body, and 3 peerless experts at the 9th level of the Supreme Power Realm, disappeared into the void just like that. Everyone felt as if they were in a dream. Originally, Ling Zhao was already in a life-or-death crisis. Who would have thought that at the critical moment, he would erupt with such terrifying power and kill the 4 experts in one fell swoop? Especially Qin Fengdao, who was trembling with fear at this moment. He lowered his head very low, fearing that Ling Zhao would notice him. At the same time, he felt extremely fortunate that he did not attack Ling Zhao. Otherwise, it would not be just the 4 of them who died, but also Qin Fengdao himself. His battle strength is actually so terrifying? Ji Shuiyao's beautiful eyes glowed, and her face was filled with shock. She had seen Ling Zhao's attack in the mustard seed array. Although she knew that Ling Zhao was very strong, it was not as shocking as what she saw now. The figure that was like a peerless god of war was forever imprinted in her heart. I knew that Ling Zhao would definitely win. This group of bastards who take advantage of others' difficulties should have died long ago. Li Qingfeng laughed heartily, his eyes filled with excitement. Ling Qingqing and Xia Hongxiu also looked at each other and smiled. They could see the relief in each other's eyes. After all, Sun Feng was a sky human realm expert, and he was quite famous in the 4 great ancient countries. However, in the 8 Desolation secret area, due to the restrictions of the seal, he could only exert the combat strength of a level 9 Supreme Power Realm expert. Thus, he died in the hands of Ling Zhao. In the Yin-Yang Valley, the fog began to dissipate, and everything became clear. The Yin-Yang baleful qi in the Yin-Yang pool had been completely devoured by Ling Zhao. Most of the geniuses from the 4 great ancient countries had died in Ling Zhao's hands. Only the geniuses from the Great Desolation Ancient Country and the Great Mystery Ancient Country did not suffer many casualties. The remaining experts from the Great Desolation Ancient Country and the Great Desolation Ancient Country were scared out of their wits by Ling Zhao. Their eyes were filled with horror as they turned around and fled out of the Yin-Yang Valley. Kill all of them, Ji Shuiyao and Ling Qingqing said at the same time with a trace of baleful qi in their eyes. Li Chengfeng, Xia Hongxiu and the rest thought for a moment and understood. If they were to spread the news of what had happened in the 8 Desolation secret area, Ling Zhao would be in danger. One should know that the Great Desolation Ancient Country and the Great Desolation Ancient Country still had 2 Sky Human Realm experts outside. If they knew that the geniuses from the 2 great ancient countries were almost completely wiped out, they would definitely go crazy. Apart from Ji Shuiyao, Ling Qingqing and Xia Hongxiu who stayed behind, Li Chengfeng volunteered to go with the people from the Great Mystery Ancient Country to kill the geniuses from the Great Desolation Ancient Country and the Great Desolation Ancient Country. Ling Zhao's gaze swept past Qin Fengdao and Tang Exin, causing their hearts to skip a beat. They looked at Ling Zhao and squeezed out a smile. However, that smile was even more painful than crying. However, Ling Zhao did not intend to take action. He shifted his gaze and looked at the location of the arrogant youth. Strange, where did Qin Fei go? Ling Zhao frowned slightly. The genius sent by the first prince was called Qin Fei. He was extremely arrogant and seemed to be unsociable. After entering the 8 Desolation secret area, he acted alone. It was only until Ling Xiao arrived at the Yin-Yang Valley that he saw him. However, he had disappeared at this moment. Chapter 277. Rumble. Right at that moment, the Yin-Yang pool started to boil. Black fog started to flow out of the clear pool, making it look extremely creepy. Ling Xiao's body shook as he understood the reason for his uneasiness. There was a creepy black fog in the Yin-Yang pool. "Oh no, get out of here!" Ling Xiao shouted at Ji Shuiyao, Ling Qingqing, and Xia Hongxiu. His voice was filled with anxiety. Ji Shuiyao and the other two saw the changes in the Yin-Yang pool and their expressions changed drastically. Ling Qingqing and Xia Hongxiu had seen the creepy black fog in the underground cave. Although they didn't know what it was, the creepy, evil, and terrifying aura from the black fog made their scalps go numb. It was as though they were afraid from the depths of their souls. Rumble. The creepy black fog surged in the Yin-Yang pool, forming all sorts of ghostly faces and demonic shadows. The ominous aura that filled the air made the Yin-Yang Valley look creepy. Furthermore, the creepy black fog seemed to have a life of its own as it rushed towards Ling Xiao and the others. "You guys leave quickly. I'll block these damn things." Ling Xiao's expression was very serious. The golden light around him shone brightly, and the sky-devouring golden lotus appeared above his head. It swept towards the strange black fog, and in an instant, it devoured all the strange black fog that had rushed out of the Yin-Yang pool. "Be careful!" Ji Shuiyao and the other two looked at Ling Xiao deeply. They knew that they would only be a burden to him if they stayed. Furthermore, Ling Xiao seemed to have a way to deal with the creepy black fog. Rumble. Right at that moment, the entire 8 desolate secret regions started to rumble. Countless mountains shook and streaks of black lightning streaked across the sky. It was as though the sky was about to shatter as black fog spread out from it. "Leave the 8 desolate secret region quickly." Ling Xiao's expression changed drastically as he used the sky-devouring secret skill to devour and refine the creepy black fog. The creepy black fog seemed to have sensed the aura of life. It surged from the depths of the earth, the mountains, and the sky and rushed towards Ling Xiao and the others. Ji Shuiyao and the others' eyes turned red when they saw Ling Xiao trying his best to block the black fog. However, they still turned around and dashed towards the exit of the Ba Huang secret region. As for Chen Fengdao and Tang Exin, they were unlucky. When the strange black fog appeared, the two of them were still in the Yin-Yang pond. Tang Exin instantly screamed as he was sucked into the black fog and disappeared without a trace. Chen Fengdao was scared out of his wits. How could he still care about Tang Exin? He hated that he didn't have an extra pair of legs and quickly fled outside. Rumble. The Yin-Yang pond suddenly split open and boundless black mist surged out from within. It bared its fangs and brandished its claws. Demonic chi surged into the sky, and it contained a terrifying fluctuation that caused one's entire body to tremble. A loud roar came from the depths of the ground, causing Ling Xiao to tremble. His blood and chi started to churn. "This is the voice of that strange creature?" Ling Xiao's eyes widened in shock as he finally understood. The bottom of the Yin-Yang pool was where the terrifying creature was sealed, not the 8 treasures lotus pond of virtue and virtue. Bright runes started to spread out from the 4 ancient stone walls of the Yin-Yang pond. They intertwined with each other and formed a huge sealing force. However, the sealing force was already very weak. As the strange black fog surged, the sealing force became weaker and weaker. Ling Xiao saw a black figure below the Yin-Yang pond. It was moving rapidly in all directions and constantly smashing the runes on the stone walls of the Yin-Yang pond. Damn it! Ling Xiao's gaze turned cold. He immediately recognized that the black figure was the person sent by the first prince. At this moment, his entire body was shrouded in a strange black fog. It was as if he had turned into a puppet and was madly destroying the seal. Boom! Ling Xiao gritted his teeth and dived into the Yin-Yang pond. The sky-devouring golden lotus floated above his head and turned into a huge golden whirlpool. It continuously devoured the strange black fog. As long as the strange black fog came within 3 feet of Ling Xiao, it would be instantly devoured by the sky-devouring golden lotus. Then, a large amount of the strange black fog would be refined by the wordless heavenly book. Ling Xiao didn't dare to use the wordless heavenly book recklessly. He could faintly feel that the wordless heavenly book was very important. It was very likely that it would alarm the terrifying creature underground. Therefore, he used the sky-devouring golden lotus as a medium to transfer all the strange black fog into the wordless heavenly book. The space within the yin-yang pond was unimaginably huge. Ling Xiao's entire body was shrouded in the strange black fog. It was pitch black and impossible to see clearly. However, Ling Xiao's mental strength was very strong. Therefore, he could easily see that Chen Fei was directly below the yin-yang pond and was still destroying the runes on the stone walls. "You're courting death." Ling Xiao's eyes flashed with killing intent. He immediately threw a punch. Countless strange black fog exploded as a huge fist aura pressed down on Chen Fei's head. Clang! Ling Xiao's punch seemed to have landed on metal, causing his arm to feel slightly numb. Meanwhile, Chen Fei's body flickered with black light. His face looked very ferocious, and a mysterious black light flickered in his eyes. Boom! Feeling Ling Xiao's attack, Chen Fei growled. His eyes were filled with ferocity. Demonic chi surged as he charged toward Ling Xiao. Clang! 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 Ling Xiao and Chen Fei exchanged a few blows. The strange black fog around them exploded, and the divine light was unparalleled. Chen Fei was like a metal man. He didn't know pain or fatigue. He even had a monstrous divine power. He was not at a disadvantage at all. This is the power given to him by the strange black fog? Ling Xiao's eyes flashed. He immediately felt that the strange black fog was flowing around Chen Fei's body, forming a mysterious cycle. It was as if some kind of power of law was providing him with endless power. After all, Chen Fei's cultivation was only at the first level of the Grandmaster realm. If it weren't for the strange black fog, he would have been blown up by Ling Xiao's punch. 5-element sky ceiling style, absolute vacuum. Ling Xiao formed a seal with his hands. A bright light suddenly shrouded Chen Fei. The power of the 5 elements flowed and stabilized the world. Suddenly, the strange black fog and the laws of heaven and earth around Chen Fei were completely extracted. Boom! Ling Xiao threw a punch. This time, the terrifying divine power on Chen Fei's body disappeared. His entire body was smashed into a fine powder. However, the strange thing was that there was not a single drop of blood on Chen Fei's body. Ling Xiao killed Chen Fei. It was as if he had angered an unknown existence. Suddenly, the earth began to tremble violently. Endless strange black fog spewed out from the ground and instantly shattered a small part of the seal runes around the yin-yang pool. Swoosh! Swoosh! The strange black fog condensed in the void and turned into a black war spear and a huge mountain-splitting axe. They emitted a monstrous killing intent and slashed toward Ling Xiao. The terrifying power made Ling Xiao's scalp tingle. This kind of power was far beyond the Grandmaster realm. Boom! Ling Xiao used the Cloud Dragon 9 transformation technique and turned into a golden divine light. He instantly rushed out of the yin-yang pool. Chapter 278. Infinite Sword of Light and Darkness, Break. Ling Xiao did not dare to fight the two weapons with his bare fists. He took out the Evil Vanquisher Ancient Sword, which shone brightly in all directions. Ling Xiao struck out with his sword. The Evil Vanquisher Ancient Sword vibrated in the void and drew 2 circles. Suddenly, the black and white sword radiance intertwined and slashed towards the black war spear. Clang! Sparks flew and the black fog on the black war spear dissipated a little. The mountain-splitting axe struck down again. Clang! Ling Xiao blocked with the Evil Vanquisher Ancient Sword. Suddenly, an unparalleled force came from the mountain-splitting axe. The Evil Vanquisher Ancient Sword was split in half, leaving a long bloody mark on Ling Xiao's chest. Kill! After Ling Xiao was injured, he did not show any fear. Instead, a tinge of madness appeared in his eyes. He flew out of the Yin-Yang Valley and used the Vajra-subduing demon fist and the infinite sword of light and darkness to block the attacks of the black war spear and the mountain-splitting axe. When Ling Xiao was 1,000 feet away from the yin-yang pool, he could clearly feel that the power of the Black War Spear and the mountain-splitting axe had weakened significantly. Rumble. Ling Xiao clenched the Vajra fist print. His blood boiled and his fists were like dragons. He used his physical strength to fight against the two demonic weapons. The eerie black fog that tried to enter Ling Xiao's body was refined by the wordless heavenly book. In the end, Ling Xiao's physical strength exploded to the maximum. The void rumbled and the Black War Spear was broken by his fist. The broken black spear turned into a strange black fog. Before it could condense into a solid form, it was swallowed up by Ling Xiao. The other mountain-splitting axe was also broken by Ling Xiao and turned into nourishment for the wordless heavenly book. I can't stay here for long. Ling Xiao looked at the eerie black fog rising from the yin-yang pool with a solemn expression. If the eerie creature really appeared, he would not be able to resist it. Perhaps no one in the 8 Desolation region could resist it. He could imagine that the 8 Desolation region would be filled with blood. Just as Ling Xiao was about to rush out of the yin-yang valley and leave the 8 Desolation secret region, the surrounding 4 mountains suddenly began to shake violently. Rumble. The sky shook and lightning flashed. The yin-yang valley actually collapsed. Endless black fog surged and formed a black ocean. Meanwhile, the surrounding 4 mountains had also cracked open. It was as if the world was about to be destroyed. All of them were shrouded in black demonic energy. Heaven, earth, water, sun, moon, and stars. The place where yin and yang converge is actually the place where that strange creature is suppressed. However, at the same time, it is also the location of a node. I don't know when Chen Fei was controlled by the strange black fog, but he actually destroyed the yin-yang pool and caused such a change. Ling Xiao's eyes flashed. Looking at the strange black fog rising from the yin-yang pool in the distance, a look of understanding appeared in his eyes. The worst-case scenario that Ling Xiao was worried about did not happen. The 8 Baron Demon Suppression Great Array was still intact, and Ling Xiao had strengthened the seal. That strange creature could not leave the 8 Baron Mystery region, but it could come out from underground. At that time, the entire 8 Desolate Mystic Realm would be engulfed in a sea of devils, and Ling Xiao would be in trouble. This was because he felt an ice-cold aura locking onto him. Rumble. Monstrous demonic energy surged within Yin-Yang Valley while the strange black fog emanated ghastly wails and howls as it slowly dispersed towards the sides. An enormous demonic palm stretched out from within Yin-Yang Valley, and it caused the ground to tremble. Bang, bang, bang. It sounded like the sound of a drum that shook the heavens and the earth. It carried a strange fluctuation that caused Ling Xiao's heartbeat to become slightly chaotic. Along with the appearance of the demonic palm, the strange black fog within Yin-Yang Valley started to seethe even more, and it seemed like it was cheering as it shook the surroundings. An enormous head slowly rose up from the ground, and its ferocious and monstrous aura caused even space to start to warp. A pair of blood-red moon-like eyes slowly opened, and then 2 terrifying rays of divine light shot towards Ling Xiao at an extremely swift speed. Rumble. Ling Xiao's expression changed. He only had time to utilize the 5 elements Heaven Seal technique to block it before he was instantly blasted over 300 m away. His internal organs roiled while a trace of blood seeped out from the corner of his mouth. Even if it's sealed, it's actually still able to erupt with a strength comparable to a Monarch Realm expert. It really is terrifying. There was a trace of a solemn expression in Ling Xiao's eyes. He noticed that he'd been targeted by that strange being, and he couldn't escape at all. Hand over the heavenly scripture, or die. A few icy cold and obscure syllables resounded. Even though only a head and an arm had been revealed, the terrifying aura it emanated made others feel like kneeling before it. It was the same being that Ling Xiao had encountered in the underground cave. It was completely enveloped by a strange black fog, and it was impossible to see what sort of monster it was. Has it taken a liking to the wordless heavenly scripture? Ling Xiao's heart sank. He hadn't expected that the strange being would take a liking to the wordless heavenly scripture in his possession. Moreover, it was determined to obtain it, and it didn't give Ling Xiao any chance to escape at all. It was probably because the strange being had taken a liking to the wordless heavenly scripture when Ling Xiao devoured the strange black fog in the underground cave. Moreover, Ling Xiao recalled the bronze divine hall he'd encountered in Beast Mountain Range. In the end, it was the wordless heavenly scripture that had drawn the attention of a certain terrifying existence. If it wasn't for the assistance of that mysterious existence within the bronze divine hall, then he would have probably died a long time ago. The wordless heavenly scripture was able to counter the strange black fog, and there seemed to be some sort of mysterious connection between the two of them. It caused the strange being to feel both fear and desire towards it. Ling Xiao felt the wordless heavenly scripture tremble, and it impatiently wanted to charge out from the center of Ling Xiao's forehead. It seemed as if it had encountered its prey, and it emanated an extremely excited fluctuation. However, Ling Xiao didn't allow the wordless heavenly scripture to emerge. He had a premonition that he might really lose this treasure if he allowed it to emerge. After all, no matter how formidable the wordless heavenly scripture was, it was still a treasure, and it depended on Ling Xiao's strength. He didn't feel that he could rely on the wordless heavenly scripture to annihilate the strange being before him. Ling Xiao's gaze turned serious as he looked at the strange being before him. His thoughts raced as he tried to think of a way to escape from the predicament before him. At this moment, the surrounding demonic aura surged violently, and a faint golden light sprinkled down from the void. Golden lotuses appeared in the void, and the heavenly flowers sprinkled down. A holy and auspicious aura swept across the sky. Let me obtain Buddha. All living beings in the 10 directions believe in bliss, and wish to give birth to my country and even 10 thoughts. If I don't give birth, I won't attain enlightenment. A Sanskrit voice came from afar. It was loud and clear, and it was like a great bell that cleansed one's mind. It had the feeling of destroying one's inner demons and cleansing one's soul. Ling Xiao's eyes flashed as he saw a figure approaching from afar. It was an ancient monk wearing a kasaya. He stepped barefoot in the void, and every step he took created a lotus. His aura was clear and pure, and his entire body emitted boundless Buddhist light. He held prayer beads in his hand, and he chanted the name of Buddha as he walked towards Ling Xiao. The ancient monk's appearance was very strange. Starting from the center of his brows, half of his entire body was emitting golden light, and it was filled with a benevolent Buddhist nature. The other half was emitting demonic aura, and it contained the sin of falling into depravity and slaughter. He stepped on the void, but it gave people the illusion that heaven and earth were moving with him. Senior Demonic Buddha. Chapter 279. The demon Buddha exuded an ancient aura, as though he had experienced millions of years. Moreover, he was able to return from death to life, which had already surpassed the realm of Ling Xiao's previous life. Therefore, it was only right for Ling Xiao to address him as senior. Ling Xiao originally thought that the demon Buddha had left the 8 desolate secret region, but he did not expect him to come here. Could it have sensed the presence of this strange creature? Block my path for 10,000 years, die. The strange being let out a furious roar, his eyes cold and bloodthirsty. When he saw the demon Buddha, he seemed to be enraged. Ling Xiao guessed that the demon Buddha was the eye of the 8 desolate demon suppression array. Perhaps the strange being knew about it, or else he would not have said that he would block his path for 10,000 years. Boom! Demonic chi rose from the strange being's body, and the huge demonic palm slapped towards the demon Buddha. The demonic palm was thousands of feet in size, like a mountain, covering the sky and the sun, causing the void to tremble violently. The demon Buddha's expression was calm. Heavenly flowers fell from his body, and Buddhist light shone as he pointed at the demonic palm. Clang! Sparks flew in all directions. The demon Buddha's fingers seemed to have pierced through the void, shattering countless mountain rocks, and landed on the demonic palm. It caused the void to tremble, and the sky began to tear. Swoosh! In the eyes of the strange being, a monstrous demonic light shot out. His body began to tremble violently, and the surrounding earth trembled. Even the 4 mountains began to shake. Ling Xiao could see that there was a divine chain of order on each of the 4 mountains. It traversed the void and locked the body of the strange being, preventing him from breaking free completely from the ground. A single palm was thousands of feet in size, and the height of the strange being was at least 10,000 feet, comparable to an immemorial sacred mountain. Such a terrifying aura burst out, like a huge wave of the heavenly river, sweeping in all directions, causing Ling Xiao to feel a suffocating pressure. The combat strength of a supreme being. This strange being is definitely a supreme being expert, and not an ordinary one. Ling Xiao's eyes revealed a trace of shock as he watched the battle between the demon Buddha and the strange being. Rumble. The demonic Buddha stepped on the void, creating a lotus with every step he took. There wasn't a trace of smoke or fire chi when he attacked. The Buddha's radiance was dazzling, illuminating the void. He and the huge demonic palm clashed a few times in the void. Large patches of the firmament were torn apart, revealing the terrifying turbulence of the void. Black lightning filled the air. The eyes of the strange creature were blazing with murderous intent. It spat out a giant black hammer with mysterious patterns on it and smashed it toward the demonic Buddha. As the giant hammer fell, there was a sudden burst of lightning. It was as if it could trigger the power of thunder between heaven and earth. Clang. The demonic Buddha's golden palm held up the sky and slapped on the giant hammer. Suddenly, the blazing lightning rolled back and shot toward the head of the strange creature. The black fog around the strange creature rolled and submerged the thunderbolt. Although the giant hammer was a little broken, it still exuded an unparalleled power. With a slight shake, the giant hammer revealed the figures of thousands of creatures, such as Pishio, Thunder Dragon, Cheong Chi, and other ancient fierce beasts. They all pounced on the devil Buddha. Boom! The prayer beads in the demonic Buddha's palm floated in the void. There were a total of 108 Bodhi pearls. They emitted emerald green light like 108 small worlds that enveloped the sky. The Tao marks formed by the thousands of creatures instantly crashed into the Bodhi pearls and collided with the giant hammer. Monstrous light burst out. The demonic Buddha's palm slashed down. A flaming blade swept across the sky, containing a power that could cut through everything. The giant hammer rumbled. Countless runes on it exploded at the same time and swept out in all directions. Countless mountains, rocks, and ancient trees were turned into dust. The strange creature let out a furious roar. A giant demonic palm that contained immortal chi kept pressing down on the demonic Buddha. Above the void, large patches of the void were shattered. The battle between the demonic Buddha and the strange creature had almost shattered the entire 8 Desolation secret realm. Ling Xiao could see that the demonic Buddha's state wasn't stable. Although he could occasionally erupt with the strength of an exalt, it seemed like he had just awakened. His true cultivation should be at the monarch realm. Therefore, the strange creature was still able to fight the demonic Buddha to a draw even when it was sealed and only had a head and a demonic palm. It was obvious how terrifying the strange creature was. Rumble. The 4 mountain peaks began to rumble loudly. Countless mountain rocks rolled down and turned into dust in the battle between the two of them. As for the 4 divine chains of order, although they had sealed the strange creature, they showed signs of collapsing. Not good. If the strange creature escapes, the demonic Buddha will probably be in danger. A trace of worry appeared in Ling Xiao's eyes. Rumble. Above the void, the 108 prayer beads turned into 108 small worlds, revolving slowly around the demonic Buddha. The demonic Buddha seemed to have an unparalleled divine power, constantly erupting with the combat strength of a supreme being. In the strange creature's eyes, 2 blood-red saber rays slashed across the sky, shattered the demonic Buddha's flaming saber, and slashed down towards his head. The void trembled slightly. The 2 saber rays were extremely terrifying. A trace of Buddha aura spread out from the demonic Buddha's originally confused eyes. In an instant, a golden lotus was condensed in his palm. It slowly rotated and collided with the 2 saber rays. The saber rays were shattered, but the golden lotus shot towards the strange creature's eyes at an even faster speed. Boom! The giant hammer floating in the void fell. Blazing lightning drowned the golden lotus and turned it into nothingness. Every move in the battle between the strange creature and the demonic Buddha was extremely dangerous. The sky shook and the void shattered. If it wasn't for the reinforcement of the divine chains of order, The 4 mountains in the surroundings would have been flattened a long time ago. Above the void, cracks were densely packed. Chaotic mist filled the air. Strange black mist rose along with blazing Buddha aura, causing the battle between the strange creature and the demonic Buddha to become even more intense. Ling Zhao's brows furrowed. He felt that the divine chains of order built on the 4 mountains had reached their limit. As the 4 mountains were constantly smashed, the endless energy began to be isolated by the strange creature's mysterious power. The 4 divine chains of order were on the verge of breaking. Once the divine chains of order were completely broken, the strange creature would be able to break free from the ground. When that time comes, would the demonic Buddha be able to withstand it? What should I do? Ling Zhao's gaze was solemn. A battle of this level was beyond the scope of his ability to intervene. The strange creature let out a loud roar, and its body suddenly leaped. Suddenly, a divine chain of order collapsed, and its huge head finally rushed out of the strange black fog, exuding a monstrous murderous aura. It looked like a lizard's head, full of black scales. It opened its bloody mouth, revealing sharp fangs, and a pair of blood-red moon-like eyes that contained a crazy power that could destroy everything. The strange black mist was the power in its body. It was like the Xiantian Gang Qi in a warrior's body, endlessly growing and multiplying. A strange ancient sword was inserted diagonally above the strange creature's huge head, exuding a mysterious light. It intertwined with the divine chains of order, forming a powerful formation to seal the strange creature. When Ling Zhao saw the ancient sword, his body trembled, and a trace of disbelief appeared in his eyes. Chapter 280. The ancient sword was dark gold in color. The body of the sword was wide but as thin as a cicada's wings. The runes on the body of the sword were engraved with the sun, moon, stars, mountains, rivers, and all living beings. It had a terrifying aura that seemed to encompass the heavens and destroy the universe. It was stabbed into the head of the strange creature. The divine chains of order on the sword intertwined. It seemed to have a mysterious connection with the entire 8 Desolation secret territory, suppressing the strange creature. When Ling Zhao saw the ancient sword, he felt as if he was connected to it by blood. His eyes were filled with excitement and emotion. "Old friend, I didn't expect to meet you here," Ling Zhao sighed softly. His powerful mental energy spread out and headed for the ancient sword. The ancient sword sensed Ling Zhao's mental strength and suddenly trembled. An unparalleled sword light burst out, containing a power that could destroy the heavens. It burst out with a brilliant light, emitting a trace of excitement and agitation. "Old friend, sky-devouring sword, come back." Ling Zhao's eyes were filled with joy as if he had seen his own child. He slowly stretched out his hand. "Kacha!" Thunder rumbled in the air as the ancient sword emitted a shocking sword hum. It was as if a mysterious world had appeared. The ancient sword's terrifying power was completely awakened. It blasted a huge hole in the head of the strange creature, and then it instantly broke through the air and flew over. A dazzling ray of light instantly fell into Ling Zhao's hand, forming a majestic and mysterious ancient sword that was overflowing with colorful lights. Boom! Ling Zhao felt a sense of connection with the sword. Instantly, he exuded an unparalleled aura. Golden light surrounded his body and a bright light lifted him up. At this moment, Ling Zhao's black hair flew in the wind. His eyes were filled with domineering and invincible confidence. At this moment, the sky-devouring supreme that shook the 9 heavens and 10 lands in Ling Zhao's previous life had returned. The sky-devouring sword was Ling Zhao's personal sword in Ling Zhao's previous life. It was a top-grade supreme weapon, comparable to the legendary divine weapons. It contained the power to devour the heavens and destroy the earth. It was just that in his previous life, when Ling Zhao became the #1 expert in the world, the heaven-devouring sword was left in the Changsun sect and became their sect-protecting treasure. In his previous life, when Ling Zhao and Supreme True Dragon explored the Scarlet Dragon War God's tomb, they did not bring the devouring sword with them. Otherwise, they would not have been so easily ambushed by Supreme True Dragon. In this life, Ling Zhao did not sense the aura of the devouring heaven sword in the longevity sect. Initially, he thought that the devouring heaven sword had been lost or destroyed. To think that he would see it here. In Ling Zhao's previous life, the devouring heaven sword had started out as a weak spiritual weapon. It had grown alongside Ling Xiao, constantly devouring natural treasures and evolving. In the end, it had become the world-shaking devouring heaven sword. To Ling Xiao, it was no longer a simple weapon. It was like an old friend. Old friend, 10,000 years have passed. Even you have suffered such heavy injuries? So much so that your true spirit was annihilated, and you can only rely on your spirituality to suppress the evil spirit. Looks like you are the hidden array core of the 8 Desolation Devil Suppression Grand Formation. Ling Xiao caressed the devouring heaven sword as he muttered to himself. He could feel that although the devouring heaven sword was still domineering and powerful, its weapon spirit had dissipated. All that was left was a sliver of indestructible spirituality. Moreover, the devouring heaven sword was stuck in the head of the strange creature. It was the hidden array core of the 8 Desolation Devil Suppression Grand Formation. Although so many years had passed and the devouring heaven sword was greatly damaged, the strange creature was still unable to escape. I guess it must be Jin Sei who kept you here. Ling Xiao sighed softly. There was a hint of confusion in his eyes. It was as if he had seen the peerless beauty smiling at him through the endless river of time.
What?
The devouring heaven sword returned to Ling Xiao's hand. In an instant, it exploded with terrifying power, causing great damage to the strange creature. The shocking sword essence almost pierced through the head of the strange creature. The strange creature roared. Its eyes were filled with bloodthirsty and frenzied killing intent. It stared at Ling Xiao and the devouring heaven sword in his hand. Moreover, taking advantage of the moment when the strange creature went berserk, the 108 Bodhi pearls of the demonic Buddha instantly pierced through the strange creature's demonic palm. A large hole was blasted open. Countless drops of black blood dripped down, turning into a surging strange black mist. Rumble! The strange creature was in pain and began to struggle violently. The surrounding heaven and earth shook violently. Huge mountains collapsed with a rumble. The last 3 divine chains binding the strange creature also shattered instantly. In the sky, cracks appeared one after another, filling the air with endless strange black mist. The mountains on the ground crumbled, and huge rivers flowed in reverse. A terrifying figure stood up from the depths of the earth and let out a roar that made one's blood boil. Emoluo, I'm free. This world will be buried with me. Roar. The strange creature spat out an obscure syllable. Its blood-red eyes looked at Ling Xiao and the demonic Buddha. Its eyes were filled with monstrous hatred and killing intent. A terrifying baleful aura spread out, causing the surrounding heaven and earth to tremble violently. Mo Luo's aura rose violently, instantly surpassing the monarch realm and reaching the profound sovereign realm that could suppress the world. Moreover, there were 3 strange starlights flickering in its eyes. They contained a mysterious and dark aura. Ling Xiao looked at Mo Luo without a trace of panic in his eyes. Instead, a trace of powerful battle intent rose within him. With the devouring heaven sword in hand and sensing the power of the universal devil suppression formation, Ling Xiao could mobilize the power of the entire universal desolate secret realm. Old friend, follow me to conquer the world. Ling Xiao bellowed, and his aura instantly began to surge. Rumble! A tornado that swept through heaven and earth surged into Ling Xiao's body. His cultivation began to rise at a speed visible to the naked eye. First level of the Grandmaster Realm, second level of the Grandmaster Realm, 9th level of the Grandmaster Realm, Noble Realm. A dragon's roar shook the heavens. Blood energy suffused Ling Xiao's body while a golden divine dragon coiled around him. The terrifying energy seemed to be on the verge of bursting Ling Xiao apart. In just a short moment, Ling Xiao's cultivation rose to the peak of the 9th level of the Monarch Realm. He was just a trace away from the Exalt Realm. It wasn't that the Universal Devil Suppression Formation couldn't bring Ling Xiao to the Exalt Realm, it was that his physical strength had reached its limits. No matter how heaven-defying the secret technique of the Ancestral Dragon was, Ling Xiao had only cultivated the Earth Dragon physique. So, the 9th level of the monarch realm was his limit. Ling Xiao's body had even started to be covered in veins of blood. The terrifying energy wasn't his own after all. It was merely borrowed energy, so it seemed extremely violent. Ling Xiao felt like the entire world was within his grasp when he sensed the formidable energy. He'd become the heaven-devouring exalt again and looked down upon the world. The devouring heaven sword emanated a peerlessly sharp glow as well. Numerous rays of light shot through the air like divine chains of order, and they emanated an aura capable of devouring the world. Senior Demon Buddha, let's see who'll be the first to kill this fiend. Ling Xiao roared with laughter. His black hair fluttered while his gaze was dazzling. He seemed extremely carefree as he slashed the devouring heaven sword towards Mo Luo. Chapter 281. Even if he was only at the 9th level of the monarch realm, even if he was facing a devil who possessed the strength of an exalt, there was only surging battle intent in Ling Xiao's eyes. The air of the wordless heavenly scripture. You deserve death. Mo Luo stared fixedly at Ling Xiao, and then he suddenly spat out a ray of black divine light from his mouth. It instantly obliterated a mountain in front of him before it shot towards Ling Xiao. 4 elephants strike the heavens. A bright glow flashed through Ling Xiao's eyes as Heaven Devourer swept through space, and then 4 rays of dazzling divine light instantly appeared in the surroundings. The quintessence of earth, water, wind, and fire converged together to form an enormous 4-colored divine sword that slashed down towards Mo Luo. The 7 Limits technique was a peerless martial technique that Ling Xiao had created in his past life. Every single move possessed the strength to obliterate the world, and its might was multiplied when executed with Heaven Devourer. When Ling Xiao executed the 4 elephants strike the heavens while at the 9th level of the monarch realm, it was simply incomparable to when he executed it before this. It seemed like it could even obliterate the sky. Bang! The 4-colored divine sword slashed against the black divine light, and then peerless light erupted and instantly obliterated the evil aura within it before it continued down towards Mo Luo. Black lightning flashed as Mo Luo's enormous hammer smashed down towards Ling Xiao. Moreover, it carried a strand of peerless lightning energy, and it was like an ocean of raging lightning. Black devilish light surged, and even the sky was torn apart. Expanses of chaotic energy suffused the surroundings as the boundless ocean of lightning collided with the 4-colored divine sword, and they were obliterated at the same time. Swoosh! However, a ray of light rose up from within the obliteration. Ling Xiao was charging over with Heaven Devourer in hand. The light from his sword was like a river of stars, and it illuminated Ling Xiao's icy cold gaze as it slashed down towards Mo Luo's neck. The speed of this sword was too fast. No one could describe the style of this sword, and no one could describe the speed of this sword. A ray of light tore through the sky, and then Heaven Devourer arrived before Mo Luo. Mo Luo was shocked as well, and he instinctively tried to block the attack with his enormous hammer. Bang! However, the Demon Buddha attacked at this moment. An enormous palm descended while emanating Buddhist light, and it was like a myriad of Buddhas were paying homage to their ancestors. It instantly slapped the hammer, and it caused lightning to cover the sky. The Demon Buddha's timing was very good. He blocked Mara's giant hammer and created the best opportunity for Ling Xiao. Puff! The Sky Devourer sword slashed across Mo Luo's massive head, causing an endless amount of black-colored blood to spray out. Mo Luo's head was nearly chopped off by soaring firmaments. Mo Luo roared furiously. Black light rose from his body as demonic aura filled the sky. His blood turned into tens of thousands of divine weapons. Like a sea of weapons, they shot toward Ling Xiao. Furthermore, there was a terrifying baleful aura within the strange black fog. It was as if it could turn one into a monster that only knew how to kill. 5 elements heaven sealing style, kill. Ling Xiao did not retreat. A cold light flashed in his eyes and the sky-devouring sword in his hand changed again. Countless sword lights exploded in the air, forming a strange sword domain that cut through the sea of weapons around him. Although Ling Xiao did not let the wordless heavenly book rush out of his sea of consciousness, He let the wordless heavenly book emit a bright divine light and began to devour the strange black fog. The sky-devouring sword light swept across the void, stirring up the heavens with an unparalleled force. At the same time, it devoured all the energy in the world, forming an absolute vacuum around Mo Luo. Explode! A cold voice rang out from Ling Zhao's mouth. Instantly, the world turned upside down and the void shattered. The divine light storm formed by the 5 elements heaven-sealing style shattered along with the void, engulfing Mo Luo in the middle. Rumble! Accompanied by a furious roar, Mo Luo's body trembled violently as he charged out of the storm. Countless wounds appeared all over his body. Black blood dripped down, corroding the earth and causing the plants to wither and die instantly, turning into nothingness. All of you are going to die. Mo Luo glared at Ling Xiao and the demonic Buddha furiously. Perhaps it was because he had been suppressed for 10,000 years that his brain was not working well. His entire body was shrouded in killing intent and anger. Ling Zhao's eyes flashed with a sharp light as he charged toward Mo Luo with the sky-devouring sword in his hand. On the other side, the demonic Buddha stood on a lotus. 108 Bodhi pearls shone brightly as they suppressed Mo Luo. Outside the 8 Desolation Secret Zone, Xia Long, Guan Hu, Yang Kuei, and Ji Ro were originally sitting cross-legged at the exit, using their powerful strength to support the exit of the 8 Desolation Secret Zone. However, at this moment, they suddenly felt a terrifying aura coming from the 8 Desolation Secret Zone, causing their expressions to change drastically. What's going on? Xia Long's eyes revealed a hint of seriousness. Brother Xia Long, could it be that there's some great danger in the 8 Desolation Secret Zone? Ji Ro's eyes flashed. That terrifying aura was so terrifying that even Sky Human Stage experts felt fear. Clearly, it was extremely terrifying. Guan Hu sneered and said, "What great danger can there be? The few Martial Dao Holy Lands have already scouted the 8 Desolation Secret Zone. There's no danger in it. Even if there's a great danger, I think it's because the people of your great desolation ancient country are too unlucky. I'm afraid all 9 of you have died in the mouths of demonic beasts." Pa. Guan Hu, you better watch your mouth. I'm afraid that the ones who will die in the end will be the people of your great desolation ancient country. Xia Long snorted coldly. All right. Stop quarreling. Look at the time. The Yin-Yang Valley has only been open for a day. Even if they come out, it will still take a few more days. We must be thinking too much. Yang Kuei carefully sensed and found that the terrifying aura had disappeared. He quickly persuaded them with a smile. Boom. At this moment, a black-robed young man rushed out of the 8 Desolation Secret Zone. His eyes were filled with incomparable fear. His face was pale and he looked crazy. All dead, the black-robed young man roared as he coughed up blood. His entire body was trembling. It was obvious that he was terrified to the extreme. Sun Ming? What's going on? Why are you the only one who came out? Where are the others? Yang Kuei's eyes flashed. He instantly recognized the black-robed young man. He was the genius of the Great Desolation Ancient Country, Sun Ming. At this moment, all of them should still be cultivating in the Yin-Yang Valley. Why would they come out? Looking at Sun Ming's miserable appearance, a bad premonition arose in Yang Kuei's heart. Sun Ming calmed down a little. However, his eyes were still filled with fear. He said, "Everyone is dead. Senior brother Hong Sha, senior brother Zhang Kai, the people of our great desolation ancient country are all dead. Some were killed by Ling Xiao. Some died in the strange black fog. The strange black fog is too terrifying." Sun Ming was incoherent. However, Yang Kuei's expression changed drastically. Hong Sha and the others are all dead? What's going on? Especially Hong Sha's identity. Thinking of the consequences of Hong Sha's death, even Yang Kuei could not help but tremble. You tell me clearly. How did Hong Sha and the others die? Who is Ling Xiao? What is the strange black fog? Yang Kuei slapped Sun Ming. His expression was extremely gloomy. His eyes flickered with a cold light as if he was about to devour someone. Chapter 282. Ling Xiao is from the Great Barren Ancient Kingdom. He killed Senior Hong Sha, Huang Yunji, and Sun Feng in the Yin Yang pool and took away all the Yin Yang baleful qi. Sun Ming's face swelled up after being slapped by Yang Huai. His eyes regained their clarity as he recounted what happened in the Yin Yang pool. At this moment, the entrance of the 8 Desolation secret zone flashed and a few more figures appeared. Their eyes were filled with fear. Ling Qingqing, Li Chengfeng, Xia Hongxiu, Chen Fengdao, Ji Shuiyao, and 2 other genius disciples from the Great Barren Ancient Kingdom. Hongxiu, you're back? Why are there only a few of you? Where are the others? Xia Long was pleasantly surprised when he saw Xia Hongxiu and the others. He quickly walked over and asked, "They're all dead, all dead. Royal uncle, quickly go and save Ling Xiao. You must save him." Xia Hongxiu's expression was gloomy. She suddenly raised her head and looked at Xia Long with an anxious and pleading expression. "And quickly go and save Ling Xiao. If it wasn't for him, we would have died in the 8 Desolation secret zone. He's the benefactor of the entire Great Barren Ancient Kingdom." On the other side, Ji Shuiyao also looked at Ji Rou anxiously. Ling Xiao, that little bastard, he deserves to die." After hearing Sun Ming's words, Yang Kuei and Guan Hu went crazy. Their eyes were filled with anger and killing intent as they stared at Ling Qingqing, Ji Shuiyao, and the others. "What are you doing?" "Guan Hu, Yang Huai, I advise you not to act recklessly." Xia Long and Ji Rou's expressions changed when they saw Yang Huai and Guan Hu's madness. They took a step back and protected Ling Qingqing, Ji Shuiyao, and the others. "Ling Xiao killed people from the Great Barren Ancient Kingdom. All of you have to pay with your lives. All of you deserve to die." Guan Hu and Yang Huai approached step by step with blazing killing intent in their eyes. Sun Ming's words struck them as if they were struck by lightning. Ling Xiao was so abnormal? In the Yin Yang Valley, he killed 4 experts with his Dragon Tiger realm cultivation and came out unscathed. Both of them were shocked and furious. This time, both Great Yellow Ancient Country and Great Flood Ancient Country were completely annihilated. More than half of their people died in the hands of Ling Xiao. Because of this, Guan Hu and Yang Huai immediately directed their anger at the 2 kingdoms after seeing that there were still people who came out alive. Huang Yunji, Sun Feng, and Hong Sha want to kill Ling Xiao. Are they not allowing him to resist? You've gone too far. Xia Hongxiu was so angry that her face was flushed red. At the same time, her eyes were filled with anxiety. That strange black fog was too terrifying. Ling Xiao still hadn't come out. Every second wasted meant that Ling Xiao was in more danger. What is Ling Xiao? How can he be compared to our 7th Highness? Not to mention that he didn't come out. Even if he did, I'll tear him to pieces. Guan Hu gritted his teeth and said. A powerful aura burst out from his body. His eyes flashed with a cold light and his hair fluttered in the wind. He was on the verge of exploding. "Xiaolong, Ji Rou, get out of my way. Today, I'll let the geniuses of your 2 countries die with Hong Sha. Otherwise, we won't rest until one of us is dead." Yang Huai's eyes were gloomy and his heart was filled with rage. Hong Sha's bronze battle body was something that Yang Huai couldn't break apart even if he didn't use the combat strength of a sky being. Ling Xiao was only at the Dragon Tiger realm. How could he kill Hong Sha? He felt like he was in a dream. It was unbelievable. "Won't rest until one of us is dead. Do you think we're afraid of you?" Xia Long and Ji Rou's eyes flashed with cold light as they stood in front of Guan Hu and Yang Huai. Rumble. A terrifying aura burst out. The Sky Being Realm experts controlled the power of heaven and earth, causing the surrounding void to tremble slightly. A great battle was about to break out. Boom. A monstrous black fog gushed out from the entrance of the 8 Desolation secret region. It contained an evil, dark and cold aura as if it wanted to take away all life. The expressions of the 4 celestial realm cultivators changed drastically, and they felt their hearts trembling. They finally understood the source of the palpitations from before. It turned out that it was because of the strange black fog. However, what was this strange black fog? As the strange black fog surged, the runes at the entrance of the 8 Desolation secret region were shattered. The 4 tokens instantly turned into dust. With a loud bang, the void shattered. The entrance of the 8 Desolation secret region was completely destroyed. Qing Qing, Xia Hongxiu, and Ji Shuiyao's faces instantly turned pale. Ling Xiao is dead? Ling Xiao died just like that? A voice reverberated in their hearts. They couldn't believe it. However, what happened in front of them clearly told them that the 8 Desolation secret region was completely sealed. Ling Xiao couldn't come out anymore. Moreover, that strange black fog made even celestial realm powerhouses incomparably fearful, so how could Ling Xiao possibly survive? Ling Xiao saved them but sacrificed himself. When they thought of that, they felt a piercing pain in their hearts. Dying just like that is too easy for him. Even if he doesn't die, I will make him beg for death. Guan Hu's eyes were extremely gloomy as he said coldly. Yang Huai's eyes were gloomy as well. However, when he looked at the strange black fog before him, his eyes were extremely solemn. If what Sun Ming said was true, then there was probably really a terrifying being within the 8 Desolation secret realm. Merely its aura alone caused the hearts of the 4 great heavenly realm experts to palpitate, and it was at least a peerless great calamity at the monarch realm. If such a terrifying being appeared, who in the entire 8 Desolation region would be able to resist it? When he thought of that, Yang Huai instantly lost interest in pursuing the matter with Ling Qing Qing and the others. He urgently wanted to return and report this matter. Xia Long, this matter isn't over. Your great desolation ancient kingdom just wait for our revenge. Yang Huai glanced gloomily at Xia Long and snorted coldly. Then, he turned around and left hastily with Sun Ming. When Guan Hu saw Yang Huai leave, he knew that it was impossible for him to be a match for Xia Long and Ji Ro alone. So, he left behind a few words before turning around and leaving. Let's go as well. I'm afraid Ling Xiao is. Xia Long's eyes were slightly gloomy. Since this young man appeared in the capital, he had erupted with dazzling brilliance. His peerless talent even made the disciples of the martial Tao Holy Lands pale in comparison. But who would have thought that his brilliance would be like a comet that bloomed as soon as it appeared and fell in the 8 Desolation secret region? Li Qingqing and Xia Hongxiu were speechless. Li Qingfeng's eyes were also extremely red. Only Qinfeng Dao's eyes revealed a trace of joy. He was probably the happiest person to see Ling Xiao die in the 8 Desolation secret region. Lung Feng, without Ling Xiao as your backing, you will die when I return. Qinfeng Dao's eyes revealed a trace of killing intent. Although Li Qingqing, Xia Hongxiu, and Li Chengfeng were unwilling to believe it, the 8 Desolation secret region had been sealed. Moreover, there was that strange black fog wreaking havoc inside. Even a sky-being realm expert would have died without a doubt. How could Ling Xiao have survived? Chapter 283. Within the 8 desolate secret grounds, Ling Xiao did not know that he was already dead in the eyes of others. Together with the demonic Buddha, he had already exchanged over 1,000 blows with Mo Luo. Even though he had already suppressed Mo Luo firmly, Mo Luo's vitality was way too tenacious. Even though his head was nearly chopped off by Ling Xiao, it did not affect him much. Boom! The ground around them had already caved in. Gigantic mountains were shattered, and rivers flowed down, forming a gigantic lake. Above the void, a creepy black mist spread out, and the heavens trembled. 2 figures could be seen revolving around Mo Luo's gigantic body, bursting forth with unparalleled power. Mo Luo's entire body was filled with wounds. His body that looked like a human was covered in scales. His arms stretched across the sky as though they could lift up mountains. His entire body was emitting a torrential demonic qi. However, Ling Xiao could sense that Mo Luo was in a really weird state. It was as though he was deranged. All he knew was killing and rage, and his intelligence was greatly affected. Boom! Ling Xiao wielded the heaven-devouring sword and became one with it. He turned into a sharp aura that could shatter the world as he slashed down at Mo Luo. The gigantic hammer in Mo Luo's hand was extremely sturdy. Furthermore, it could control the power of thunder. It was extremely powerful. When it clashed with the heaven-devouring sword, it caused a bright flash of light. Buzz! 108 Bodhi pearls fell, and each of them seemed to have a devil Buddha sitting cross-legged on top of them. The Buddha light was vast, illuminating the void. It was eternal and immortal, and had a great magical power that could subdue demons and devils. Mo Luo slapped out with his palm. Even though the black mist was mostly destroyed by the Buddha light, it still slammed onto the Bodhi pearls. Instantly, the demonic light was torrential, wanting to drown the 108 demonic Buddhas. Boom! Each of the 108 demonic Buddhas opened their eyes at the same time. Within their eyes, there were golden flames that streaked across the sky. Like the blazing flames of the sun, they enveloped Mo Luo instantly. Buzz. At this moment, 6 ancient and mysterious syllables were spat out from the mouths of the demonic Buddhas. The entire world seemed to be trembling. A boundless Buddha light filled the sky, turning into a gigantic barrier that imprisoned Mo Luo. 108 demonic Buddhas sat cross-legged in the void all around, chanting Buddhist scriptures. Golden lotuses sprouted from the ground, and flowers rained down from the sky. A golden flame burned fiercely, turning into a golden flame to refine and suppress Mara. Buddhist karmic fire? Ling Zhao's gaze shook as he recognized the supernatural power that the demonic Buddha used. It was the fire of karma of the Buddhist sect. The fire of karma could also be said to be the fire of karma. It contained the power of karma and the truth of fate. Any living being that was tainted by karma and could not escape from fate would turn into nothingness under the fire of karma. Rumble. The Buddhist light in the void was vast, and the chanting of sutras was extremely mysterious. It seemed to have come from the endless space and time, causing the karmic fire to burn even more fiercely. Mo Luo was trapped in the barrier. Karmic fire burned his body and demonic energy surged from his body. Strange black fog surged around him. Although he was screaming in pain from being burned by the karmic fire, Ling Xiao could tell that Mo Luo would not die anytime soon. If that's the case, let me send you on your way. Ling Xiao's eyes revealed a trace of cold light as a mysterious aura exuded from his body. The sky-devouring sword was dazzling as it slowly rose in the void. Ling Xiao's black hair fluttered in the wind, and his eyes were like lightning. There seemed to be 6 mysterious world shadows behind him. The 6 worlds revolved around each other, exuding the concept of reincarnation. It was extremely terrifying. The third style of the 7 limits divine technique of devouring heaven and destroying earth, the 6 paths of reincarnation. This style was too terrifying. It contained a power that could pierce through life and death. Once the sword was unleashed, there would only be death. With the power that Ling Xiao had borrowed, he could only perform one move. After that, Ling Xiao would be exhausted and the borrowed power would disappear. However, Ling Xiao was willing to take the risk. Ling Xiao could tell that although the demonic Buddha was strong and the fire of karma was terrifying, Mo Luo seemed to have an aura that could cut off karma. It would be difficult to kill Mo Luo. Only the 6 paths of reincarnation could kill Mo Luo. Rumble. There was a thunderous boom that seemed to shake the world. The 6 paths of reincarnation behind Ling Xiao radiated with boundless divine force, causing Ling Xiao's aura to rise to the limit. Instantly, the sky-devouring sword soared through the air, heading straight for Mo Luo's forehead. The aura of the 6 paths of reincarnation intertwined. The sky-devouring sword seemed to become illusory at that moment, as if it no longer existed in this world. However, it contained an even more terrifying power, causing Mo Luo's expression to change drastically. He could sense a fatal threat from this move. Boom! Mo Luo struggled with all his might. The barrier of Buddhist light around him trembled violently, as if it would shatter at any moment. However, it was already too late. The sword seemed to be the judgment of the gods, but it also seemed like the power of the underworld king of hell. It pierced through life and death. What it destroyed was not Mo Luo's body, but his life essence. Spurt! The sky-devouring sword instantly shot into Mo Luo's forehead. The illusory sword light seemed very weak, but it contained an extremely terrifying power. Ling Xiao himself did not hesitate at all. He followed the sky-devouring sword and rushed into Mo Luo's forehead. The wordless heavenly book instantly floated out of Ling Xiao's body, turning into a dazzling light that enveloped Ling Xiao. At the same time, it began to rapidly devour the strange black fog and black blood in Mo Luo's body. Ling Xiao could clearly sense that after the 6 paths of reincarnation slashed down, more than half of Mo Luo's life essence was instantly destroyed. He was already on the verge of death. The full power of the wordless heavenly book instantly shattered Mo Luo's last trace of life. Boom! The light in Mo Luo's eyes dissipated. His huge body collapsed with a loud boom. The earth shook and dust flew everywhere. The demonic Buddha slowly withdrew the 108 Bodhi pearls and the power of the hellfire. Looking at Mo Luo's collapsed body, 2 streams of blood flowed down from his eyes. 1,000,000 years of tribulation, 10,000 Buddhas gathered into Yama. Kill all the heavenly demon generals, host all spirits. A vast and sorrowful voice came from the demonic Buddha's mouth. He ignored Mo Luo and did not look at Ling Xiao. Instead, he walked towards the distant sky and disappeared into the horizon. Senior demonic Buddha, are you from 1,000,000 years ago? Although Ling Xiao was in Mo Luo's sea of consciousness, he could still hear the sorrowful voice of the demonic Buddha. His eyes revealed a trace of emotion. The demonic Buddha was a person with a past. Perhaps his origin was related to Mo Luo. Boom! Mo Luo was killed by Ling Xiao, but the strange black fog in his body became the nourishment of the wordless heavenly book. Instantly, a dazzling vortex erupted, wildly devouring the strange energy in Mo Luo's body. Chapter 284. The strange black fog was actually the demonic qi and blood in Mo Luo's body. Through this battle, Ling Xiao realized that Mo Luo might not be from this world. The blood in his body was black and the aura around him was incompatible with this world. Moreover, the demonic Buddha's hellfire did not affect him much. Therefore, it was highly likely that Mo Luo was from another world. Is the so-called calamity an invasion from an outside world? Ling Xiao's eyes revealed a trace of seriousness. The wordless heavenly book turned into a huge whirlpool and exuded a wave of excitement. It began to devour the energy in Mo Luo's body rapidly. After using the 6 paths of reincarnation, Ling Xiao's energy was depleted and he fell back to the 9th level of the Dragon Tiger realm. A sense of weakness surged in his heart and he was not used to it. Moreover, although the Earth Dragon's body was strong, it still caused great damage to his physical body after releasing such terrifying energy. The wordless heavenly book devoured the energy in Mo Luo's body and fed Ling Xiao strands of extremely pure energy. It merged with his consciousness, bloodline, sea of qi, and physical body to repair his damaged body and improve in all aspects. Although Mo Luo was dead, his remaining energy was left behind by a supreme being. It was extremely terrifying. Therefore, the wordless heavenly book's devouring this time caused the golden light enveloped by the wordless heavenly book to spread rapidly. Originally, the wordless heavenly book was already 90% filled with golden light. As long as the golden light was completely filled, Ling Xiao would be able to obtain another secret skill. Ling Xiao was looking forward to obtaining the secret skill recorded in the wordless heavenly book. The sky-devouring secret skill was a secret skill that assisted in cultivation, while the ancestral dragon secret skill was a secret skill that cultivated the physical body. For Ling Xiao, it already had such a heaven-defying effect. Ling Xiao desperately wanted to obtain an offensive secret skill. He could imagine that the offensive secret skill in the wordless heavenly book would be extremely powerful and would not be inferior to the 7 limits divine technique of devouring heaven and destroying earth. What's that? Ling Xiao was seated in Mo Luo's sea of consciousness. He was focused on refining the energy from the wordless heaven sutra. Suddenly he felt a strange ripple. Resplendent light floated out from Mo Luo's sea of consciousness. This is a fragment of Mo Luo's primordial spirit? Ling Xiao shuddered slightly. As a supreme being, Mo Luo's Yuan Shen was incredibly strong. Although he was killed by Ling Xiao's 6 paths reincarnation, his Yuan Shen was not completely destroyed. Mo Luo's imprint had already vanished from the soul fragments, but they still gave off a sinister, dark presence. Maybe I can find Jin Sei's whereabouts from these soul fragments. Ling Zhao's eyes widened as he hurriedly executed the heaven-devouring secret technique. The heaven-devouring golden lotus emitted a bright light as it flew towards the primordial spirit fragment. These Yuan Shen fragments contained evil demonic qi. They had to be thoroughly cleansed and turned into the purest Yuan Shen energy before Ling Zhao dared to devour them. The sky-devouring golden lotus was even more miraculous than the sky-devouring spirit seed. Not only could it devour different types of Jin qi, but it could also devour the power of the primordial spirit. The sky-devouring golden lotus could devour anything. The sky-devouring golden lotus emitted a dazzling golden glow. A golden rainbow swept a piece of the primordial spirit fragment over. Strands of light flickered as it began to devour the demonic qi and black mist within. Under Ling Zhao's guidance, the black light on the primordial spirit fragment quickly faded away. It became white, flawless, and crystal clear. Ling Zhao carefully reached out with his spiritual energy and instantly pulled the primordial spirit fragment over to him. He began to devour it. A powerful spiritual energy spread out. The golden figure in Ling Zhao's sea of consciousness seemed to have eaten a great tonic. It began to solidify and expand. At the same time, a memory imprint appeared in Ling Zhao's mind. These memory imprints were the most precious to Ling Zhao. Therefore, he only kept the memory imprint in the primordial spirit fragment. He removed the rest. Rumble. The sky trembled as tens of thousands of creatures cried. A monstrous figure descended from the 9 heavens, exuding an unparalleled demonic aura. He opened his mouth, causing clouds and mist to rise. Countless humans flew into his mouth and were devoured by him. The primordial spirit fragment recorded the scene of Mo Luo descending to this world and devouring all living beings. It also proved that Mo Luo was not from this world. Nothing. Ling Zhao's eyes were filled with coldness. He was filled with killing intent towards these outer-realm beings. However, he was slightly disappointed that he didn't find any memories related to Jin Sei. Next one. Ling Zhao's eyes flashed, and the sky-devouring golden lotus approached another primordial spirit fragment. The sky-devouring golden lotus cleansed the fragments of Mo Luo's demonic aura before devouring and refining them. The memories that Ling Zhao saw of Mo Luo were fragmented as well. Moreover, they were all memories of Mo Luo after he had descended into this world. He did not know anything about Mo Luo's origins. Ling Zhao saw it as well. The human experts called Mo Luo and the others outer-realm celestial demons. Outer-realm celestial demons were divided into 1-star celestial demons to 9-star celestial demons. Celestial demons were illusory figures without physical bodies. They relied on their powerful spiritual energy to confuse and kill. 1-star celestial demons corresponded to the meridian opening realm of the human race. 8-star celestial demons corresponded to the monarch realm, and 9-star celestial demons corresponded to the half-exalt realm. Above celestial demons were celestial demon generals. They were comparable to supremes and were extremely powerful. Based on the number of stars in their eyes, they were also divided into 1-star celestial demon generals to 9-star celestial demon generals. Above 9-star celestial demon generals were celestial demon kings. They were comparable to titled supremes and stood at the peak of human Tao. They looked down on the world and were extremely powerful. Mo Luo was a celestial demon king. He had invaded the war god continent 10,000 years ago. In the end, he was severely injured and sealed for 10,000 years. Where is Jin Sei? Ling Zhao was slightly anxious. He had devoured so many primordial spirit fragments, but he still hadn't found Jin Sei's whereabouts. His gaze landed on the last primordial spirit fragment. It was also the largest one. I hope it won't disappoint me again. Ling Zhao took a deep breath and began to devour the last primordial spirit fragment. As the pure primordial spirit energy merged with Ling Zhao's consciousness, a grand picture scroll appeared in front of Ling Zhao's eyes. Rumble. Under the vast sky, the mountains were resplendent. Auspicious qi rose. This was the Changsun sect from 10,000 years ago. They had thousands of spiritual mountains and millions of disciples. Mo Luo descended from the 9 heavens. Demonic qi shrouded the Changsun sect. Countless celestial demons and celestial demon generals descended and engaged in a life and death battle with the people of the Changsun sect. Countless disciples of the Changsun sect were assimilated by the strange black fog. They turned into monsters that only knew how to kill. They turned around and charged at their friends and family. Endless cries, screams, and sorrowful voices resounded throughout the world. The entire Changsun sect and even the 8 Desolates region fell into a calamity. Chapter 285. Brothers, Eternal Great Emperor, has been updated for 3 months and 600,000 words. It's finally going to be published. Being published means that you have to pay for it. Other books only cost 300,000 to 400,000 words, but our Eternal Great Emperor is 600,000 words free. This is the result of Mu Yu's hard work with the editor. If it's not published, the editor will go berserk. First, let's answer a few questions I often see in the comments section. 1. Why do you have to pay for it? The website needs to operate and the author needs to eat. Brothers, think about it. Even your family's old cattle needs to be fed before they can work. If the author keeps updating for free, how can he feed his family? The website will probably close down long ago. There are free periods for a book, but there are also times when it's published. 2. How do you charge for it? Can it be cheaper? The price is set by the website. The author has no say. To be specific, it was 5 cents per 1,000 words. Twilight Rain would only be able to update a chapter with over 2,000 words, which was 10 cents per chapter. 10 cents per chapter was already very cheap. For this reason, Twilight Rain would have to think hard about the plot and work hard for more than an hour to write one chapter. She would have to sit in front of the computer for 4 to 5 hours to update 3 chapters a day. Mu Yu updates a month. Everyone only needs to spend a few dollars to buy drinks and snacks. So it's already very cheap. 3. How do I subscribe to Eternal Great Emperor? Everyone could read Eternal Emperor on QQ Reading app and Genesis Chinese network. Book coins could be purchased through WeChat, Alipay, bank cards, and Qcoins. 1 renminbi was equivalent to 100 book coins. For example, the 10 chapters of Tomorrow Evening Rain only cost 100 book coins. The quality of a book depends on the number of subscriptions. So, Mu Yu hopes that everyone can support the original book. If everyone pays a small amount of money to subscribe, Mu Yu will be happy and passionate. Eternal Great Emperor will be better and more exciting. Why not? Mu Yu was an office worker. She went to work during the day and went home at night to write. She sacrificed all her time for entertainment and rest. Our book, Eternal Great Emperor, was written by Mu Yu on a quiet night while she was typing on the keyboard. Seeing the comments of many brothers encouraging Mu Yu, I'm really touched and happy. I was touched because I got to know such a group of cute brothers, but I was also happy because my book was recognized by everyone. Therefore, Mu Yu would definitely give everyone a blood-boiling, fantastical, and magnificent Eastern fantasy world with even more enthusiasm. Here, Mu Yu wanted to thank many people. First of all, it was her brothers such as Long Qijuan, Doryman, Long Tang Huyu, Shen Yi, God Sky Army, Meng Er, God Sky Army, Longzi, Strange Uncle, God Sky Army, Ling Xiao, Little Fan. Too many brothers and sisters. It was because of your support that Eternal Great Emperor became better and better. Secondly, I would like to thank Chief Editor Taishan and Chief Editor Tiger. If it weren't for your recommendations, Eternal Emperor wouldn't have achieved such good results. Finally, I want to thank myself for persevering, for being willing to work hard and fight for a better life. Brothers, Ling Zhao's journey has already begun. The 8 Desolates region is only his starting point. He still has to travel across the War God continent, dominate the myriad worlds, find Jin Se, find the supreme true dragon for revenge, and start a blood-boiling era, a legend that belongs only to Ling Xiao. Did Ling Xiao find Jin Se among the fragments of his primordial spirit? What would be the next secret technique that Ling Xiao would obtain? Ling Xiao was about to return to the capital. What kind of blood-boiling moment would he experience? Everything will be revealed in the 10 chapters that will explode tomorrow. Starting from noon tomorrow, 10 chapters will explode. Are you guys ready? I'm ready. Chapter 286. Cling. A dazzling sword radiance soared into the sky like a heavenly river, slashing at the towering Mo Luo. It was a woman in white with an extraordinary temperament. Her face was cold as she fought Mo Luo with the heaven-devouring sword in her hand. Jin Sei, is that you? Ling Xiao trembled slightly as his eyes turned red. The figure that he had yearned for day and night had finally appeared in front of him again. Although it still felt surreal, Ling Xiao was still incomparably excited. Rumble. Countless spiritual mountains in Changsun sect were reduced to dust as countless disciples died in the catastrophe. Jin Sei wielded the heaven-devouring sword and unleashed an unparalleled sword intent. She unleashed a power that could shake the sky as she attacked Mo Luo. This battle was extremely tragic. Mountains collapsed and the sky shattered. Jin Sei started coughing up blood towards the end. Her white robe was dyed red with blood, but the battle intent in her eyes was still strong. The entire 8 Desolation region fell into a catastrophe. Ling Xiao could see thousands of spirits crying as mountains and rivers crumbled. Countless human experts died in battle while the endless heavenly demons descended from the 9 heavens to unleash a bloody catastrophe. Many scenes couldn't be seen clearly anymore. Ling Xiao's gaze seemed to be able to see through 10,000 years of time and space. He saw the delicate figure who killed billions of heavenly demons alone and fought against Mo Luo. She didn't wait for Ling Xiao's return, but the invasion of heavenly demons, the catastrophe of 8 Desolation region, and the bloody dusk of billions of lives. Mo Luo was suppressed in the end. However, Jin Sei also paid a heavy price. Her white robe had turned blood red and her beautiful face was extremely pale. Jin Sei used her unparalleled divine force to mobilize the power of the 8 Desolation dragon veins and set up the 8 Desolation demon suppression formation to suppress the heavily injured Mo Luo. She also used an ancient monk's golden body as the eye of the formation. The heaven-devouring sword was also left behind on top of Mo Luo's head. It used its supreme sword intent to grind away at Mo Luo's primordial spirit so that he would never be able to rise again. The memories in Mo Luo's primordial spirit were very fragmented. Ling Xiao could only see that Jin Sei looked deeply in the direction of Changsun sect. Her haggard gaze made Ling Xiao's heart ache. In the end, Jin Sei tore open the sky dome and stepped on an ancient path to the heavens, disappearing forever. The ancient road to heaven faintly led to a mysterious world. It seemed to be an ancient continent, but it also seemed to be an eternal and indestructible god realm. Jin's went to the war god continent? Or did he go to the god realm? Ling Xiao's eyes trembled, revealing a look of incomparable anticipation. If Jin Sei finally broke through to the supreme god realm and obtained eternal life, perhaps Ling Xiao would still be able to see her. Jin Sei, wait for me. The scene before Ling Xiao's eyes disappeared as the last fragment of the soul was completely devoured and refined by him. The extremely pure power of the soul merged with Ling Xiao's sea of consciousness, becoming a part of the golden soul. Rumble. Ling Xiao abruptly opened his eyes, and a boundless aura rose from his body. Even though most of Mo Luo's energy had been devoured by the wordless heavenly scripture and only a small portion of it had been returned to Ling Xiao, the tremendous energy was as vast as the ocean. It immediately pushed Ling Xiao's cultivation to skyrocket. 9th level of the Dragon Tiger Realm. 10th level of the Dragon Tiger Realm. Perfection. Grandmaster Realm. In just a few moments, Ling Xiao's aura had broken through 2 realms. A kind of connection between heaven and earth spread out, indicating that Ling Xiao had completely entered the Grandmaster Realm. After reaching the Grandmaster Realm, Ling Xiao did not continue to increase his cultivation. Instead, he allowed the wordless heavenly scripture to devour all the energy. This is the true martial path primordial spirit. In Ling Xiao's sea of consciousness, a 9-inch tall soul sat cross-legged, radiating a dazzling golden light. It was extremely mysterious. After devouring Mo Luo's soul fragment, Ling Xiao's spiritual energy also skyrocketed. The 1-inch tall soul fragment had completely condensed into a martial path primordial spirit. It sat cross-legged in the void of his sea of consciousness, illuminating the world and controlling his own soul. The condensation of the martial path primordial spirit also meant that Ling Zhao's spiritual energy had officially entered the alchemy grandmaster realm, comparable to those in the noble realm. From now on, the most difficult stage on the path to the noble realm had been passed. Ling Zhao's cultivation path would be smooth from now on. If others knew about this, they would probably be scared to death. He had condensed a martial path primordial spirit at LV1 of the grandmaster realm. Even the most dazzling geniuses would admit that they were not as talented as him. Along with the risk came great fortune. After all, Mo Luo was once a heavenly demon king who was comparable to a titled celestial being. Even though he had been suppressed for 10,000 years and his cultivation had weakened to the extreme, he was still a celestial being. It was because of the wordless heavenly tome that Ling Zhao was able to obtain such a great fortune. Buzz. Just then, the wordless heavenly scripture began to buzz and tremble. The originally plain wordless heavenly scripture was now completely enveloped in a golden light. A mysterious scripture slowly emerged from the wordless heavenly scripture. Has the wordless heavenly scripture finally been completed? Ling Zhao's eyes widened in shock. A look of great anticipation appeared in his eyes. According to Ling Zhao's guess, the wordless heavenly scripture should have recorded 108 secret skills. All of them were supreme martial arts that could shock the world and dominate the universe. However, the wordless heavenly scripture was too damaged. It had to devour a large amount of energy to reappear the secret skills within. Mo Luo was a heavenly demon king. The wordless heavenly scripture had devoured all of Mo Luo's power. Finally, a page of the heavenly scripture was completed. It was about to reveal a supreme secret skill. Ling Zhao was very much looking forward to it. The sky-devouring secret skill and the ancestral dragon secret skill were secret skills that could assist in cultivation and the secret skill of the physical body. Ling Zhao was more looking forward to an offensive secret skill. However, he was not sure how the secret skill in the wordless heavenly scripture would manifest. He was also not sure what the secret skill would be. Buzz. The wordless heavenly scripture trembled slightly. Then, a page of the heavenly scripture opened. A few ancient golden words appeared on it. Heavenly Spirit Realm number 23, Secret Skill of Shifting. Secret Skill of Shifting? Is it a secret skill about speed? Ling Zhao was slightly disappointed. It was not the offensive secret skill that he was looking forward to. However, when his primordial spirit sank into the heavenly scripture and finished reading the mysterious scripture, a look of surprise appeared in his eyes. This secret skill recorded that the secret skill of shifting was the fastest secret skill in all the heavens. When cultivated to the extreme, not only could one travel through the void, but they could also shift the endless sand world. It was extremely powerful. However, from the content of the secret skill of shifting was indeed very abnormal. It could be said to be a life-saving trump card. Chapter 287. After devouring a heavenly demon king, the 23rd Heavenly Dipper Realm secret art appeared. The price to pay for this secret art is really high. Ling Zhao smiled bitterly. The 23rd Heavenly Dipper Realm secret art wasn't considered high. It couldn't even be compared to his heavenly devouring secret art. If the wordless heavenly book needed to devour a heavenly demon king to appear, wouldn't it mean that he would need to devour a true god to obtain the top 10 secret arts? Ling Zhao was extremely lucky to have the wordless heavenly book devour Mo Luo. Otherwise, it would take him a long time to gather the terrifying energy of the wordless heavenly book. Now it seems that if I can find the incomplete secret art, the wordless heavenly book's energy consumption will be very small. It seems that this is the only way to obtain the secret art in the future. Ling Zhao thought to himself. Mo Luo's corpse had already turned into fine powder. Ling Zhao slowly stood up and a powerful aura spread out, causing the surrounding void to tremble slightly. The entire 8 desolate secret land had been destroyed. The surrounding mountains had collapsed, the earth was torn apart, and countless towering ancient trees had withered, turning the place into a desolate land. I wonder how long it took me to devour and refine Mo Luo's corpse. I wonder if Sister Qingqing and the others managed to escape? Ling Zhao's eyes revealed a trace of worry. When he was devouring and refining Mo Luo's corpse, he had forgotten about the time and everything else. He thought of the 1-month life-or-death battle in the Wan Shou sect. Ling Zhao could see that the Wan Shou sect was actually stalling for time. After all, the Wan Shou sect was very far away from the Great Desolation Ancient Kingdom. I hope I can still make it if I go back now, Ling Zhao thought to himself. The heavenly devouring sword turned into a ray of light and flew into Ling Zhao's Dantian Qi Si to be nourished. His entire body turned into a ray of light and rapidly flew towards the exit of the 8 Desolate Secret Land. Although the exit of the 8 Desolate Secret Land had been destroyed, Ling Zhao naturally knew how to activate the 8 Desolate Devil Suppression Grand Array. Hence, he was able to leave the secret land easily. Sister Qingqing and the others might have returned to the capital, Ling Zhao guessed. However, there was a sense of worry in his heart as he quickly flew towards the Great Desolation Ancient Kingdom. Although they arrived very quickly, that was because the Black Eagle possessed extreme speed. With Ling Zhao's own cultivation, he was still unable to reach the speed of the Black Eagle, which could travel 50,000 kilometers in a day. Ling Zhao comprehended the secret art of teleportation while he was on his way back. Because it was the secret art. Because it was related to the laws of the heavens and earth's void energy. Only those in the Grandmaster realm could begin to comprehend the power of heaven and earth, and only then were they qualified to comprehend the secret art of shifting. Teleportation. Teleportation. To travel. 2. Ling Zhao hurried on his journey without stopping. He was covered in dust and finally returned to the capital on the 3rd day. And day was to be. Ling Zhao walked towards the gates of the capital city and saw a few armored warriors inspecting the people entering the city. Their gazes were as sharp and cold as an eagle's. Ha! Ling Zhao's eyes flashed as he felt that something was wrong. The gate of the capital was guarded by the city guards. The city guards were part of the royal guards and were under the command of Meng Ao. They wore the same black armor and held the Kailan war flag. However, these soldiers wore green armor and carried the Green Serpent flag. If Ling Zhao remembered correctly, the Green Serpent army was under the command of Chen Weishan. Why would they take over the city gate defense? Ling Zhao frowned. Could it be that something had happened in the capital? Just as Ling Zhao was about to enter the capital, the Green army noticed Ling Zhao, especially the leader. After seeing Ling Zhao, a trace of shock appeared in his eyes. The leader exchanged a few words with the soldier of the Green Serpent army and was about to leave. A cold glint flashed in Ling Zhao's eyes. He immediately flew to the side of the commander and grabbed him by the shoulder. How dare you? Put down the leader. The Green Dragon army soldiers were stunned. They immediately drew their weapons and roared at Ling Zhao with murderous looks on their faces. What are you trying to do? The commander was only at the 6th level of the Dragon Tiger realm. How could he be a match for Ling Zhao? Instantly, he was unable to move. He looked at Ling Zhao with a hint of panic in his eyes. You know me? Why did you run when you saw me? Ling Zhao asked indifferently. The leader swallowed his saliva and said, Young hero, you must be joking. How would I know you? I didn't want to run. It's time for us to change shifts. That's why I left. The leader's eyes flickered as he looked around. You're really dishonest. Ling Zhao sneered and exerted force with his fingers. A strong force came and the leader felt a piercing pain as he started to howl. Are you going to talk? If you don't, you can die. Ling Zhao's eyes flashed with cold, killing intent. Looking at the Green Serpent army and the leader who wanted to leave after seeing Ling Zhao knew that something had happened in the capital. Young Master Ling, please spare my life. I'll talk. The leader was sweating profusely from the pain and quickly begged for mercy. Ling Zhao loosened his grip, and the commander told Ling Zhao everything that had happened in the capital with a long face. After Ling Zhao left the capital, it was said that the imperial advisor, Pure Yang spiritual master, and the Great Desolation King went into seclusion. The 9th Prince Xia Yun took the opportunity to collude with Great General Chen Weishan and some of the civil and military officials to seize control of the capital. They announced that the Great Desolation King had passed away and killed the first prince Xia Yunjie, preparing to ascend the throne. As for those who refused to submit to Xia Yunran, they either died mysteriously or surrendered to Xia Yunran at the last moment. The entire Great Desolation Ancient Kingdom had undergone a huge change. Although Meng Ao was the great commander of the royal army, he was injured and had been recuperating in the Demon King's mansion. Xia Yunran instigated a few of the royal army's leaders to rebel, causing the royal army to be divided. A portion of the royal army joined Xia Yunran, while another portion of the royal army and 300 Tiger Camp soldiers were loyal to Meng Ao. They were all in the Demon King's mansion, confronting Chen Weishan and the others. Xia Yunran actually dared to rebel? This brat is really courting death. Ling Zhao's eyes revealed a trace of coldness. He didn't know why Xia Yunran was so stupid. After all, he was the one who refined the soul-returning pill. Xia Huang, Ling Juechen, and Pure Yang spiritual master would probably come out of seclusion soon. When the three noble realm experts came out, even the martial arts sacred grounds would have to treat them with caution. Xia Yunran was simply courting death. The leader carefully glanced at Ling Xiao and continued, "The 9th prince was worried that you would come back, so he ordered us to patrol the gates of the capital. If we find any news about you, we have to report it immediately." I didn't expect Xia Yunran to be so afraid of me. Should I feel honored? Let me ask you, did Ling Qingqing, Xia Hongxiu, and Li Chengfeng return to the capital? Chapter 288. The three of them came back 7 days ago, but as soon as they returned, Ling Qingqing and Xia Hongxiu were put under house arrest by the 9th prince. I don't know where Li Chengfeng went either. The commander replied honestly. Good, very good. Xia Yunran must have eaten a bear's heart and leopard's guts. Do you know where Ling Qingqing and Xia Hongxiu are imprisoned? A cold glint flashed across Ling Zhao's eyes as he spoke slowly. I'm just a guard, how would I know? The commander said with a wry smile, and a hesitant look appeared on his face. Ling Xiao said impatiently, "But what? Spit it out." I heard that something happened at the Demon King's residence. The commander shrunk his head and looked at Ling Xiao fearfully. Something happened at the Demon King's residence? Ling Zhao's eyes flashed with murderous intent, a bad feeling rising in his heart. Some of the Imperial Army elites and Huban camp have joined Meng Ao and are guarding the residence. Even the 9th prince can't do anything about it. However, I heard that Commander Meng Ao, Governor Lu Xiongfei, Master Jiao Mu, Sky Sword Li Ling, and many of the Ling family's clansmen have been assassinated. The commander gritted his teeth and spilled everything. Assassinated? A cold, murderous intent spread from Ling Zhao's body, causing the commander to tremble and turn pale. Meng Ao and Lu Xiongfei were loyal to Ling Zhen and had taken care of Ling Xiao a lot. In Ling Zhao's eyes, they were like family to him. Master Jiao Mu was Ling Zhao's in-name disciple. Although he had become Ling Zhao's disciple to learn alchemy, he was willing to work hard for Ling Xiao. In addition, Li Ling had already become an elder of the longevity sect. These people were the closest to Ling Xiao in the royal capital. Why would they be assassinated? Could it be that they were implicated by Ling Xiao? Was it the 9th prince or the Wanshou sect? Ling Zhao's eyes were cold as he immediately thought of the 9th prince and the Wanshou sect. However, the commander didn't know about this either. Go tell Xia Yunran that I, Ling Xiao, am back. Tell him to take good care of Ling Qingqing and Xia Hongxiu. If they lose a single strand of hair, I'll take his head. Ling Xiao glanced at the commander and said coldly. Then, he quickly flew in the direction of the Demon King's residence. The commander carefully glanced at Ling Xiao. When he realized that Ling Xiao was already far away, he quickly turned around and ran towards the imperial city from another route. Demon Lord Jinyao's residence. The atmosphere in the majestic and solemn mansion was very tense. Imperial guards in black armor stood in the mansion with bows, swords, spears, and other weapons in their hands. Their eyes were cold as they faced off against the group of soldiers outside. At this moment, the palace of Demon King was surrounded by the Green Dragon Army. The Green Dragon Army's warriors all had powerful auras and a murderous aura. They stared coldly at the palace of Demon King's palace without saying a word. In front of the Green Dragon army stood a group of powerful figures. They were both young and old, and all of them sneered as they looked at the Demon King manor. There were two people in the lead. One of them was a dignified old man in a black robe. His cultivation had reached level 9 of the Grandmaster realm. Standing beside the old man was a handsome young man in brocade clothes. He had an arrogant look on his face as he looked coldly at the Demon King manor. "Clansmen of the Ling family, I'll give you one more chance. If you're willing to submit to me, then quickly open the door. Otherwise, when the Demon King manor breaks down, there won't be any survivors." The dignified old man sneered. His voice spread throughout the entire Demon King manor. If Ling Xiao was here, he would be able to recognize that this dignified old man was the former great elder of the Ling family, Ling Yunxiang. "Ling Yunxiang, you still have the face to come to the Demon King manor? I didn't expect you to submit to the Wan Shou sect and be willing to be their dog. How dare you call yourself a member of the Ling family? The little prince has already made your name out of the Ling family's genealogy. Get lost or I'll kill you." In the Demon King manor, Meng Ao stood on the watchtower. He looked very pale, but his eyes were filled with rage and killing intent. Originally, Ling Yunxiang and Ling Tianxi had died in the Demon King manor, and they were killed by people from the underworld. But now they were alive and well. Even Meng Ao couldn't figure it out. But Ling Yunxiang really did appear here, which could only mean one thing. The person who died earlier wasn't Ling Yunxiang. The scheme of substituting one person for another. Thinking of this, Meng Ao felt a chill in his heart. Ling Yunxiang faked his death to escape, which meant that there was an unfathomably powerful force behind him. Meng Ao, that little bastard Ling Xiao is already dead. The entire imperial city is now the 9th prince's world. The 9th prince will ascend to the throne soon. If you continue to resist, you'll die without a burial place. Clansmen of the Ling family, do you want to be exterminated along with him? Ling Yunxiang sneered. His gaze fell on the Ling family clansmen beside Meng Ao. The Ling family clansmen who stayed in the Demon King manor were all selected by Ling Xiao. They didn't commit any major crimes and were willing to draw a clear line with Ling Yunxiang. However, the news of Ling Xiao's death in the 8 Desolation secret realm had spread throughout the royal capital. The Demon King's mansion had been besieged by the Green Flood Dragon army for so long, so all the clansmen of the Ling clan were in a panic. Hearing Ling Yunxiang's words, the Ling family clansmen were in an uproar. Their eyes were filled with struggle. Ling Xiao didn't spread the news of Ling Yunxiang and Ling Tianxi's deaths, so most of the Ling family clansmen didn't know that Ling Yunxiang and Ling Tianxi were dead. They thought that the two of them had escaped. Don't listen to Ling Yunxiang's nonsense. The little prince won't die. He'll be back soon. When that time comes, Ling Yunxiang will die. Moreover, Xia Yunran rebelled against his superiors, which is a major crime. When the king comes out of seclusion, it will be his death. Meng Ao's cold gaze swept across the Ling family clansmen as he spoke loudly. Currently, there were less than 1,000 people in the Imperial Army and the 300 Huban camp who were loyal to Meng Ao. However, the Green Dragon Army outside had more than 10,000 people. There were also more than 1,000 Ling family clansmen in the Demon King manor. Among them, there was no lack of experts with high cultivation. If these people were to be incited by Ling Yunxiang, the consequences would be unimaginable. Ha! Meng Ao, you're about to die, and you still dare to boast so shamelessly? You're just a piece of trash now. If you dare to come out, I'll definitely kill you. Ling family clansmen, I advise you to think clearly. In a moment, I'll give the order to attack. If you don't make the right choice, then don't blame me for not caring about our relationship. Ling Yunxiang sneered. Behind him stood dozens of Ling family clansmen. They were all people who were purged by Ling Xiao in the Demon King manor. Now, they had all surrendered to Ling Yunxiang. Hearing Ling Yunxiang's words, they also began to shout at the Ling family clansmen in the Demon King manor. Quickly surrender. If you follow the Great Elder, you won't be mistreated. The 9th prince has already promised. Once he ascends the throne, the Great Elder will be the Demon King Jinyao. At that time, You won't be lacking in glory and wealth. The Demon King Manor is our Ling family's territory. When did Meng Ao become the master? Ling Xiao is already dead, and the Great Elder is now the master of the Ling family. Could it be that you want to betray the Ling family? Come out. As long as you come out, the Great Elder will let bygones be bygones. Behind Ling Yunxiang, the Ling family clansmen began to shout with all their might. Within the Demon King Manor, the commotion among the Ling family clansmen became more and more intense. Everyone's eyes revealed signs of struggle and desire. Chapter 289. They were very clear about the current situation of the Demon King's mansion. The most powerful heavenly sword Li Ling, Great Master Jiao Mu, Meng Ao, and Lu Xiongfei were all heavily injured. Moreover, how could a mere 1,000 imperial guards resist the Green Dragon Army and Ling Yunxiang? Meng Ao's heart skipped a beat when he saw this, and his eyes revealed a trace of bitterness. If there were really members of the Ling family who had defected, it would be one disaster after another for the Demon King's Manor. Young master, where are you? I'm useless, and I won't be able to defend the Devil Mansion. Meng Ao sighed in his heart, but his eyes revealed a trace of determination. He had decided that even if he died in battle, he would not let Ling Yunxiang succeed. He firmly believed that Ling Xiao would return. When Ling Xiao returned, it would be the death of Ling Yunxiang. Young master, the clansmen of the Ling family are already tempted. Once they panic, we can easily take down the Demon King's mansion. Ling Yunxiang looked at the brocade-robed young man beside him and smiled flatteringly. Very good, you've done well. Today, we must take down the Devil Mansion. As long as we capture Meng Ao, Lu Xiongfei, Master Jiao Mu, and Li Ling, even if Ling Xiao is not dead, he will be obedient. The brocade-robed young man smiled faintly, and his eyes revealed a trace of victory. The brocade-robed young man was called He Fong, and he was the son of the Thousand Beasts sect's elder He Qing. This time, he followed the Thousand Beasts sect's first true disciple to the Imperial City for a life-and-death battle with Ling Xiao, but he did not expect Ling Xiao to die in the 8 desolate secret zone. He Qing privately told He Fong that Ling Xiao had a supreme inheritance, and it was very likely that he was not dead. Therefore, he asked him to take down the Devil Mansion and capture Meng Ao, Lu Xiongfei, Master Jiao Mu, and Li Ling. These 4 people would definitely be able to make Ling Xiao hesitate. Although He Qing did not know why he believed that Ling Xiao was not dead, to be able to defeat Shi Tianluo, who was at the 6th level of the Grandmaster realm, this terrifying talent was beyond He Fong's imagination. Therefore, he also believed that Ling Xiao must have a supreme inheritance. As long as he captured Meng Ao, Lu Xiongfei, Master Jiao Mu, and Li Ling, he would be able to make Ling Xiao obediently hand over his inheritance. Thinking of this, He Fong's heart began to burn. Ling Xiao, I really hope you're not dead yet. Before you're killed by Senior Brother Tiger, all your heaven-defying inheritance and treasures are mine. He Fong's eyes revealed a hint of greed as he thought to himself. Great Elder, I'm willing to surrender. At this moment, a voice came from the Demon King's mansion. A middle-aged Ling family clansman quickly ran out, his eyes filled with panic. Meng Ao's gaze turned cold. He pointed at the middle-aged man and said coldly, "Kill him." Suddenly, killing intent flashed in the eyes of the Huban battalion soldiers. Countless arrows shot towards the middle-aged man. With a sharp sound, the arrows pierced through the air and turned the middle-aged man into a sieve. Whoever dares to surrender will end up like him. The Demon King's mansion can only belong to young master. Anyone who dares to betray young master will die. Meng Ao's voice seemed to have come from the depths of hell. His murderous gaze swept across the Ling clan, causing everyone's pupils to shrink. The originally restless crowd began to calm down. Clansmen, the Demon King's mansion belongs to the Ling clan. What does it have to do with Meng Ao? Let's go together and open the door to welcome Great Elder. A sinister voice rang out from the crowd of the Ling family. Instantly, the crowd, who had just regained their calm, began to stir again. Who's there? Get out here. Meng Ao's gaze changed, but he realized that the voice was erratic in the crowd. He couldn't find the person who spoke at all. Clansmen, the Green Flood Dragon army is about to attack. Do you think that just 1,000 royal guards can stop the Green Flood Dragon army? You have to know that Meng Ao is already trash. If Great Elder makes a move, he will die without a doubt. The imperial city now belongs to the 9th prince. Even if Ling Xiao isn't dead, what can he do? If he doesn't die at the 9th prince's hands, he will die at the hands of the Wan Shou sect. Follow Great Elder and you can still live. If you resist, only death awaits you. That sinister voice rang out again. It drifted through the crowd, and it emitted a kind of tempting fluctuation. Suddenly, more and more Ling clan clansmen began to move. Coward who hides his head but shows his tail. Get out here if you dare. Meng Ao was about to explode from anger. His expression was extremely ugly, and he had a bad feeling in his heart. As expected, a few Ling clan clansmen who were near the door had a fierce look in their eyes. Instantly, their cultivation exploded and they charged towards the royal guards beside them. Poopiu! A few royal guards had their hearts pierced from the back. Their eyes were filled with disbelief as they died. As for the Ling clan clansmen, they ran towards the door of the Demon King's mansion in a frenzy. They wanted to open the door and let Ling Yunxiang and the others in. Clansmen, charge! Kill these bandits who have taken over our home. Suddenly, many Ling clan clansmen began to go berserk. Their eyes were filled with madness as they charged towards the royal guards beside them. Bastard, bastard! Meng Ao's vision turned black as he spat out a mouthful of blood. He was about to faint. He didn't expect that the Demon King's mansion would be in chaos before Ling Yunxiang and the others even attacked. Looking at the deafening battle cries in the Demon King's mansion, he felt helpless. Ah, young master, they are already in chaos. We can attack the city now. Ling Yunxiang's eyes lit up when he heard the battle cries coming from the Demon King's mansion. He laughed and said, Attack! Other than Meng Ao, Lu Xiongfei, Jiao Mu, and Li Ling, kill everyone else. He Feng's eyes revealed a trace of killing intent as he said indifferently, What about the Ling clan clansmen? Ling Yunxiang asked hesitantly. These clansmen are two-faced. If they can betray others today, they can betray you tomorrow. What's the use of keeping them? Kill them all. Don't leave a single one alive. He Feng snorted coldly. With one sentence, he decided the fate of the Ling clan clansmen. Yes. Although Ling Yunxiang felt a little heartache, these were all Ling clan clansmen. They were also the capital of the Ling clan in the future. He couldn't bear to kill them all. However, he didn't dare to disobey He Feng's orders. He could only nod in agreement. Boom! Following Ling Yunxiang's order, the Green Dragon army that surrounded the Demon King's mansion began to move. Swoosh! 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 Arrows rained down from the sky and covered the entire Demon King's mansion. Some of the arrows even contained the fluctuation of genuine qi and gang qi. They were able to explode with unparalleled power. After landing in the Demon King's mansion, waves of miserable cries could be heard. Chapter 290. The Demon King's mansion was magnificent. Even the surrounding walls were dozens of feet high, making it look like a small city. There were many watchtowers on which the Imperial Army soldiers were stationed. After several rounds of arrow rain, the Imperial Army and the Ling family suffered heavy casualties. The Green Dragon Army soldiers began to set up siege equipment and charge towards the Demon King's mansion. Rumble! The extremely sturdy gate of the Demon King's mansion could not withstand the impact of the Green Dragon Army. Soon, it was completely broken. Countless Green Dragon Army soldiers rushed out and began a fierce battle with the Imperial Army. It's over! Meng Ao's face showed a trace of pain and he closed his eyes. Meng Ao die! Ling Yunxiang's cold eyes fell on Meng Ao's face. He suddenly jumped up like a rock and rushed towards Meng Ao. Although He Feng asked him to spare Meng Ao and the others, it was not a problem to beat Meng Ao half to death to vent his anger. Meng Ao was severely injured and could not even exert the strength of a grandmaster. How could he be Ling Yunxiang's opponent? Commander, let's go! Several Tiger Camp soldiers in black armor roared. They held black sabers in their hands and burst out with all their strength. charging towards Ling Yunxiang. "You're courting death." Ling Yunxiang's eyes turned cold. Although these tiger camp soldiers were brave, they were only in the dragon tiger realm. How could they be his opponent? Gotcha! Ling Yunxiang threw out a palm and a powerful innate gang qi burst out. It rolled up a sky full of saber radiance and smashed all the sabers. Then, it hit the tiger camp soldiers hard. Bang! The tiger camp soldiers' hearts were smashed by Ling Yunxiang's palm. They fell to the ground and died. "Commander, we'll stop him." Numerous soldiers of the Huban camp stood in front of Ling Yunxiang dauntlessly. Their eyes were full of fearlessness and crazed fighting intent. "No," Meng Ao roared. His eyes were wide open and 2 lines of blood flowed down his cheeks. These were all warriors that he had personally trained. Many of them were orphans and they were only in their 20s. They originally had a bright future ahead of them, but they had all died in Ling Yunxiang's hands because of Meng Ao. Meng Ao's heart was bleeding. He suddenly raised his head, and his eyes were filled with rage and killing intent. "Ling Yunxiang, I'll kill you!" Meng Ao roared as a sky halberd appeared in his hand. It emitted an unparalleled sharpness as he channeled all of his qi and blood into it and slashed towards Ling Yunxiang. "A piece of trash dares to fight me? You're courting death." Ling Yunxiang sneered. If Meng Ao was at his peak, Ling Yunxiang would naturally be extremely fearful. However, Meng Ao had already become a cripple now, and his combat strength was less than 10%. How could he possibly be a match for Ling Yunxiang? Rumble! A black longsword appeared in Ling Yunxiang's palm. Powerful Xiantian gang qi was infused into it. Suddenly, a torrential sword radiance shot towards Meng Ao. Clang! The sky halberd and the black sword collided, and an unparalleled sharpness erupted. Ling Yunxiang's body trembled slightly, and he could not help but take a few steps back. The sky halberd flew out of Meng Ao's hand. Blood spurted out of his mouth, and he suddenly fell to the ground. "Am I really going to die? Your Highness, I didn't take good care of the young master. I apologize to you again." A trace of bitterness surged in Meng Ao's heart. His vision turned black, and he felt that the world was spinning. Although his furious attack was terrifying, after all, half of his cultivation had been destroyed. It was difficult for him to exert the combat strength of a guru, let alone fight with Ling Yunxiang, who was at LV9 of the guru realm. After that attack, Meng Ao suffered a huge backlash, and he was on the verge of death. "Ling Yunxiang, you're courting death." At this moment, a voice that contained monstrous anger exploded between heaven and earth. In the void in the distance, a figure, like a golden lightning, emitted a dazzling golden glow, and wrapped in a brilliant heavenly might, flew across the sky. It was a young man in white, bathed in golden sunlight. His black hair fluttered in the wind, and his eyes were like lightning, full of cold, killing intent and anger. Ling Xiao was back. "The young master is back?" Meng Ao vaguely heard Ling Xiao's voice and saw the peerless figure in white. Suddenly, a trace of calmness emerged in his heart, and he completely fainted. "Ling Xiao? Didn't you die in the Ba Huang's secret area?" Ling Yunxiang's face changed greatly, and then a deep-seated hatred appeared in his eyes. It was because of Ling Xiao that Ling Yunxiang lost control of the Ling family after Ling Tianxi's death. He could only live in the dark like a stray dog. Therefore, his hatred for Ling Xiao had reached an extreme. Ling Xiao was also shocked. He saw Ling Yunxiang die in the demon mansion with his own eyes. Now that Ling Yunxiang had appeared alive, it seemed that Ling Yunxiang must have a big secret. However, no matter what, Ling Yunxiang was going to die today. "Ling Yunxiang, you're really scheming. In order to escape by faking your death, you didn't hesitate to sacrifice your own grandson. However, even if you didn't die, I'll kill you again today." Ling Xiao's eyes were piercingly cold, and his killing intent was blazing. He didn't dare to imagine that if he had come back a little later, the demon mansion would have been flooded with blood and no one would be left alive. Ling Yunxiang deserved to die. Hearing Ling Xiao's words, Ling Yunxiang's face twisted. He looked at Ling Xiao with hatred and said, "Ling Xiao, I'll make you pay with your life for Tianxi." That boom. The black sword in Ling Yunxiang's hand emitted an unparalleled sharpness, and it flew towards Ling Xiao. Ling Xiao's eyes revealed a trace of coldness. Looking at Ling Yunxiang, who was holding a sword, he threw a simple punch. Boundless blood and qi rose, and a golden divine dragon condensed around Ling Xiao. The fist radiance was vast and mighty, and it caused the void to tremble slightly. It contained a force that could suppress everything. What? Ling Yunxiang's face changed drastically. He felt a fatal danger from this punch. Ling Xiao's current strength was more than 10 times stronger than before. How did Ling Xiao's combat strength become so terrifying in such a short period of time? However, Ling Yunxiang didn't have time to think. The fist that was like the sun swept across the sky, and in an instant, it swept away all the sword radiance, and violently slammed into the black longsword. The black longsword was directly shattered by Ling Xiao, and the unparalleled divine force was transmitted into Ling Yunxiang's body, causing him to spit out blood. He was sent flying dozens of feet away by Ling Xiao's punch. Die! Chapter 291. Rumble. The void trembled. The golden fist radiance was so vast that it seemed to have shrouded the sea in the void. Boundless fist radiance fell and bloomed with billions of rays of light. Ling Xiao came from the sky. His fist technique was invincible. He was like a peerless divine king who could suppress the world and sweep through the wilderness. His blood and qi shattered a large area of the sea of clouds. Ling Yunxiang's expression changed drastically. His eyes were filled with horror. Facing Ling Xiao's fist, it was like facing the vast power of heaven. It made him feel like an ant looking up at a god. No, block it for me. Ling Yunxiang's complexion was incomparably malevolent. He roared crazily. Endless ghost aura gushed out from his body. Behind him, a huge skeleton exuded monstrous dead qi. It seemed as if it had come from the 9 serenities hell. It soared across the sky towards Ling Xiao. Ling Yunxiang was bleeding from his 7 orifices. More than half of his essence blood had been drained. He used a forbidden technique to desperately block Ling Xiao's attack. The huge skeleton looked like the ghost king of hell. Its eyes were blazing with ghost fire. The monstrous evil qi seemed to have condensed into a black sword radiance that shot toward Ling Xiao rapidly. Rumble. Ling Xiao's fist landed on the huge skeleton. The vast fist radiance and the sword radiance collided with each other, creating a violent explosion that made the heavens and earth tremble. The skeleton that was filled with the aura of death actually shattered in an instant, unable to withstand the terrifying physical strength of Ling Xiao, which was like a real dragon, and exploded in an instant. The skeleton was formed by Ling Yunxiang's essence blood and spiritual soul. It was a self-mutilating secret technique. After it was destroyed by Ling Xiao, Ling Yunxiang suddenly spat out a mouthful of blood. His aura instantly weakened and he fell from the void. Ling Yunxiang died. Ling Xiao's eyes were piercingly cold. His killing intent was like a substance that completely locked onto Ling Yunxiang. After the skeleton was destroyed by Ling Xiao, he did not stop and continued to attack Ling Yunxiang. Everyone was dumbfounded. Whether it was the soldiers of the Royal Guards, Green Dragon Army, or the clansmen of the Ling family, they were all in disbelief. That was Ling Yunxiang, who was at the 9th level of the Supreme Power Realm. He was only 1 step away from reaching the Celestial Realm. Even in the capital city, he was well known. In the end, he couldn't even last 2 rounds under Ling Xiao's hands. He was about to die at Ling Xiao's hands. 1 punch to shatter the black sword, and 1 punch to severely injure Ling Yunxiang. Ling Xiao's godlike demeanor was forever imprinted in everyone's hearts. Young master help me. Seeing Ling Xiao charging over, Ling Yunxiang's eyes were filled with terror. He turned to He Fang and begged for mercy. He Fang frowned slightly, but still made his move. A white sword light shot out from He Fang's hand. It was like a divine rainbow. It contained a monstrous sharpness as it slashed towards Ling Xiao. Ling Xiao's eyes flashed. He actually felt a trace of danger from the sword light that was shooting towards him. A cold light flashed in his eyes as he threw out a punch. The vast fist force exploded in the void, disappearing at the same time as the sword light. You're Ling Xiao? Ling Yunxiang is a member of our Wanshou sect. You dare to attack him? Do you want to die? Hifang's eyes flashed with a hint of greed as he sneered. Who are you? Ling Xiao said indifferently. He didn't even look at Hifang. He hurriedly went to check on Meng Ao's condition. Although Meng Ao was severely injured, his life was not in danger for the time being. He was slightly relieved. Moreover, Ling Xiao's eyes flashed when he saw Meng Ao's empty sleeve. His eyes instantly surged with monstrous killing intent as he looked at Hifang and Ling Yunxiang. Ling Yunxiang was already scared out of his wits. He ran back to Hifang's side and pointed at Ling Xiao viciously. Ling Xiao, you're dead. This is the true disciple of the Wanshou sect, one of the 7 disciples of the Wanshou sect, young master Hifang. If you know what's good for you, surrender obediently. Otherwise, you'll definitely die. 7 disciples of the Wanshou sect? So you're the same as Shitian Luo? Ling Xiao sneered coldly. This Hifang looked very arrogant, but his cultivation was only at the 8th level of the Grandmaster realm. Although his cultivation was higher than Shi Tianluo's, in Ling Xiao's opinion, whether it was his temperament or strength, he was inferior to Shi Tianluo. Such a person actually became one of the 7 disciples of the Wanshou sect. His status in the Wanshou sect was probably not ordinary. Ling Xiao, don't be so arrogant. Hifang's face instantly turned red. His eyes revealed a touch of coldness as he said coldly, Shidan Luo is ranked 7th among the 7 disciples of the Wanshou sect. He lost to you only because he was incompetent. You don't know the immensity of heaven and earth. You dare to make a life-and-death battle with the Wanshou sect. You're simply courting death. This time, the Tiger King, ranked 3rd among the 7 disciples of the Wanshou sect, is here. You're definitely dead. If you know what's good for you, kneel down obediently and beg for mercy. Then, hand over the martial arts you've cultivated. Maybe I can even beg the Tiger King for mercy and let you live. Kneel down and beg for mercy? Hand over the martial arts? So you've taken a fancy to the martial arts I've cultivated. I'm afraid that you'll have the life to covet it, but not the life to cultivate it. Ling Xiao's eyes flashed as he sneered coldly. He didn't expect that this arrogant-looking young man would covet his martial arts and even shamelessly ask him to hand it over. At this moment, Ling Xiao's eyes flashed as he discovered that the Ling family members who had betrayed the Demon King's mansion were all trying to escape. Since you dared to betray the Ling family, you should be prepared to die. Ling Xiao's eyes flashed coldly as he flicked his finger. Streaks of invisible energy swords flew through the air, containing a cold, murderous aura and killing intent. Suddenly, screams sounded one after another. The Ling family members who had escaped the Demon King's mansion were all pierced through the heart by the invisible energy swords. They screamed as they fell into a pool of blood. Ling Xiao's eyes were cold, and he didn't even frown. His gaze fell on the Ling family members who had followed Ling Yunxiang. Immediately, their faces changed and they wanted to escape. I once gave you a chance. Since you didn't cherish it, then you can go and die. The ground beneath Ling Xiao's feet trembled, and immediately, the hard blue stone ground cracked open like a spider web. Powerful Xiantian Qi force flowed along the ground, turning into sharp Qi swords that shot out from under the feet of the Ling family clansmen, killing them all. Even Dragon Tiger Realm and Grandmaster Realm powerhouses were like chopping vegetables in front of Ling Xiao. They died cleanly and cleanly. In an instant, hundreds of Ling family members were killed by Ling Xiao on the long street outside the Demon King's mansion. Blood flowed like a river, and the air was filled with a thick stench of blood. Chapter 292. Ling Xiao, you're courting death. Hifang was instantly enraged. Ling Xiao killing people in front of him was simply a slap to his face, making him feel extremely humiliated. However, Ling Xiao did not even look at him. His murderous eyes fell on Ling Yunxiang. Although I don't know how you faked your death and what's your relationship with the netherworld, it's no longer important. Once you're dead, everything will be over. Ling Xiao said indifferently as he walked towards Ling Yunxiang. Bang, bang, bang. Every step Ling Xiao took caused the ground to rumble. The blue stone ground cracked and a monstrous murderous aura exuded from Ling Xiao's body, oppressing Ling Yunxiang. How dare you! He Feng was completely enraged. His eyes were filled with anger as he stared at Ling Xiao. An ancient silver sword appeared in He Feng's hand, exuding a blazing light. The light was so bright that it caused the void to tremble slightly. Moreover, the brocade robe on He Feng's body began to emit a brilliant light. Runes spread out. It was a powerful treasure. 2 peerless weapons? No wonder you're so confident. However, if you want to stand up for Ling Yunxiang, you must be prepared to die. Ling Xiao's eyes flashed when he saw the ancient silver sword and brocade robe in He Feng's hand. They were both peerless spiritual weapons, especially the brocade robe. It exuded an extremely powerful defensive fluctuation. Experts below the celestial realm would find it difficult to break through He Feng's defense. However, Ling Xiao was no ordinary expert of the Grandmaster realm. Boom! Ling Xiao threw a punch at Ling Yunxiang. The divine light around him was blazing. His golden blood rose as if it had turned into a golden dragon, coiling around Ling Xiao. The dragon's head merged with Ling Xiao's arm, erupting with an earth-shattering power. Ling Xiao, you're courting death. He Feng's eyes flashed. The ancient silver sword in his hand pierced through the air like a silver lightning. It was extremely fast. Ling Yunxiang's eyes were filled with terror, and he quickly retreated. Get lost. Ling Xiao's face flashed coldly. His fist intent covered the sky and changed direction. His fist landed on the ancient silver sword. An unparalleled fist force erupted. It was terrifying. Rumble. The ancient silver sword trembled as countless sword lights were shattered by Ling Xiao's punch. The runes on the ancient silver sword suddenly exploded, and the overflowing divine power passed into He Feng's arm, causing his entire body to shake. The ancient silver sword almost flew out of his hand. Even though the supreme grade defensive artifact on his body had blocked most of the force, he was still sent flying dozens of feet away by Ling Xiao's punch. How is this possible? Only when he truly faced Ling Xiao did Crane know how terrifying Ling Xiao was. His eyes were filled with shock. He felt as if he wasn't facing a human youth, but a primordial ferocious beast with monstrous vitality, causing his heart to tremble slightly. Ling Xiao had condensed the sky-devouring golden lotus, his earth dragon body had reached phenomenal success, and he had condensed his martial path primordial spirit. His cultivation had broken through to the Grandmaster realm. His combat strength had increased by more than 10 times or even 100 times compared to when he had fought with Skyfall. Right now, Ling Xiao was confident that even if Sky Snake Descent appeared before him again, he would be able to blast it apart with a single punch. Therefore, a simple punch with the power of his physical body was enough to repel He Feng. Ling Yunxiang, prepare to die. Without He Feng's obstruction, Ling Xiao's cold gaze landed on Ling Yunxiang. His entire body turned into a golden lightning bolt and flew across the sky. No, Ling Yunxiang felt the threat of death. His eyes were filled with horror, and there was no trace of fighting spirit left in him. Golden light exploded in the sky, enveloping Ling Xiao's peerless figure as he charged towards Ling Yunxiang. In the blink of an eye, he was right in front of Ling Yunxiang. Boom! A cold, dark, and evil aura emanated from Ling Yunxiang's body. His eyes instantly turned silver, and his entire body was enveloped in a black death aura. His figure was like a ghost as he disappeared into the void in an instant. In the next moment, Ling Yunxiang appeared behind Ling Xiao. A slender black sword appeared in his hand, and a cold, murderous intent filled the air as he stabbed towards Ling Xiao's heart. Ling Yunxiang's transformation was beyond everyone's imagination. Who would have thought that the person who seemed to be on the verge of collapse and had no strength to resist would actually reveal his ferocious fangs at the last moment and launch a sure-kill attack? Ling Yunxiang's eyes were cold, and there was no trace of fear left. The slender sword in his hand ruthlessly pierced through Ling Xiao's heart. Bang! Ling Xiao's body directly exploded, and he disappeared into the void. Ling Yunxiang's expression also changed greatly in an instant. because he felt that the slender sword piercing through Ling Zhao's heart was just an illusion. In front of him was only an afterimage left behind by Ling Xiao. Ling Xiao had already disappeared before his eyes. Then where was Ling Xiao? Ling Yunxiang felt a chill all over his body, and a monstrous murderous intent came from behind him. Ling Xiao had already appeared behind Ling Yunxiang without him noticing. Ling Yunxiang, die. Ling Zhao's cold voice sounded. Before Ling Yunxiang could do anything, Ling Xiao had already grabbed Ling Yunxiang's arms and suddenly tore them apart. Boom! How terrifying was Ling Zhao's strength. It was almost comparable to the cub of a primordial fierce beast. Everyone saw Ling Yunxiang's body instantly explode in the void. Blood mist filled the air, and broken limbs flew everywhere. Ling Yunxiang was torn apart by Ling Xiao. That hellish scene made many people's stomachs churn, and they couldn't help but vomit. Buzz. In between Ling Zhao's eyebrows, his mental strength turned into a golden light. In an instant, it rolled up in the void, rolled up a black spiritual light, and suppressed it in between his eyebrows. After condensing the martial Tao primordial spirit, Ling Zhao's mental strength had many more means. He could see the soul of a martial artist, and use his supreme magic power to capture the soul and obtain the information he wanted. After Ling Yunxiang was killed, Ling Xiao took advantage of the fact that his soul had not dissipated to directly roll up his soul and suppress it in his sea of consciousness. Blood rain filled the sky. Ling Zhao's white robe was whiter than snow, and there was not a trace of blood on it. He stepped out of the void, and his eyes were calm and indifferent. However, no one dared to look at him directly, and they all lowered their heads. Everyone felt like they were in a dream. Such a young man in front of them, who looked like he had just entered the first level of the Grandmaster realm, could actually tear Ling Yunxiang apart so easily? Moreover, Ling Yunxiang's ghostly speed when he was about to die just now was very easy to kill even for a celestial realm expert if they were not careful. However, Ling Xiao seemed to have known it and reacted in advance. Chapter 293. The light under Ling Zhao's feet flickered like a long rainbow. He walked as if he was stepping on an invisible staircase in the void. He was very confident. The reason why Ling Xiao could suddenly disappear and then appear behind Ling Yunxiang was because he used a teleportation technique. He didn't expect the effect to be so good that even Ling Yunxiang, who was at the 9th level of the Grandmaster realm, was fooled. Ling Zhao's gaze fell on Yifang. Yifang's body trembled, and his face became extremely ugly. Although he had only fought with Ling Xiao once, he knew that he was definitely not Ling Zhao's opponent. However, if he retreated like this, he felt that he would lose face and was very unwilling to accept it. "Young master, you're back? That's great." At this moment, a familiar voice sounded in the Demon King's mansion. Ling Zhao's body trembled. He suddenly turned his head and saw a middle-aged man in a white robe who looked extremely confident. He was supported by 2 armored soldiers of the Tiger Camp and walked out. It was Lu Xiongfei. At this moment, Lu Xiongfei looked very pale and his breath was weak. It was difficult for him to even stand up. Moreover, he only had one leg left. The other leg had disappeared at some point. Meng Ao lost an arm, and Lu Xiongfei lost a leg. Ling Zhao's eyes instantly turned blood red. "Uncle Lu, what's going on? Where's your leg? Who did it?" Ling Zhao's voice was bone-chilling. He suppressed a monstrous anger and his eyes turned red. He had only been away for more than 10 days. Not only did the situation in the royal capital change, but the Demon King's mansion was almost destroyed. Lu Xiongfei and Meng Ao were also seriously injured and on the verge of death. "It's the underworld." Lu Xiongfei's eyes revealed a trace of bitterness. He said, "Young master, after you left the royal capital, the underworld sent 2 heaven-rank assassins and more than 10 gold-rank assassins. They wanted to slaughter my Demon King's mansion. Fortunately, Li Ling was there. He had risked his life to kill a heaven-ranked assassin, heavily injuring another, and even killing a few gold-ranked assassins. However, Li Ling had also been heavily injured, and Master Jiamu was still unconscious. My leg and Meng Ao's arm were all done by the underworld." "The underworld?" Ling Xiao enunciated each and every word coldly. The fury in his eyes almost burned the heavens. His hatred for the underworld had reached its peak. Even though the underworld had tried to assassinate Ling Xiao on so many occasions, he had never felt the urge to kill all the rats that were hiding in the shadows. Why would the underworld's assassins target the Demon King's mansion so crazily? Aren't they trying to kill me? There was a hint of doubt in Ling Xiao's eyes, but he immediately turned to look at He Fang. In the entire royal capital, only the Wanshou sect hated Ling Xiao so much that they even wanted to get rid of the Demon King's residence. From the looks of it, it was very likely that the Wanshou sect had hired assassins from the underworld. Why are you looking at me? I didn't do it. He Fang jumped in fright and said angrily out of humiliation. Even if you didn't do it, it has something to do with your Wanshou sect. Since that's the case, I'll kill you first and collect some interest. Ling Xiao's gaze was piercingly cold. His entire body exuded an unparalleled aura as he walked towards He Fang. Ling Xiao, do you really think I'm afraid of you? Green Dragon Army, listen to my command, charge. I don't believe that these 10,000 people can't kill you. He Fang said fiercely. Although he felt that he wasn't Ling Xiao's opponent, these Green Dragon Army could be said to be Chen Weishan's elite troops. There were many experts in the Dragon Tiger realm among them. With so many soldiers surrounding him, no matter how strong Ling Xiao was, he could still be exhausted to death. A Green Dragon Army seal appeared in He Fang's hand. Immediately, the 10,000 Green Dragon Army outside the Demon King's mansion roared at the same time. Pairs of cold eyes fell on Ling Xiao. Boom! Powerful auras were emitted from their bodies. These were all elite warriors who had fought on the battlefield and survived hundreds of battles. The overflowing blood and killing intent emitted by the tens of thousands of people pressed down across the sky, causing the faces of the people in the Demon King Manor to change greatly. The 10,000-strong Green Dragon Army had actually already condensed an army spirit. Their chi interweaved with each other, and their blood boiled. They emitted a kind of great power of heaven and earth, just like a celestial tier elite. They were able to mobilize the power of laws in the unseen world, using their power to suppress others. It was extremely terrifying. Ling Xiao looked at the Green Dragon Army in front of him and sighed. They were indeed the most elite force under Chen Weishan's command. They were really strong. However, Ling Xiao didn't intend to tangle with the Green Dragon Army for too long. He Fang, you're really different. Even if your cultivation is higher than Shi Tian Luo, you'll never be able to defeat him. Even if you have more people, you won't be able to defeat him. Ling Xiao sneered and the longevity ring shone with a lustrous light. Instantly, over 100 ferocious-looking giant full-armed apes emerged from the longevity ring. Every one of them had blood-red eyes and long arms. Blood energy surged up from their bodies and they looked incomparably valiant. Especially the leader, the long-armed ape king. His body was more than 100 feet tall. He was like a small mountain, exuding an extremely powerful pressure. If they were facing Ling Xiao, the 10,000 Green Dragon Army soldiers could still muster up their courage. However, facing the hundreds of long-armed giant apes that suddenly appeared and felt the monstrous murderous aura, their expressions changed drastically. Their morale was shaken. The long-armed giant apes pounded their chests and bared their sharp fangs. After receiving Ling Xiao's order, they immediately charged towards the Green WIRM army. Boom! More than 100 long-armed giant apes rushed over like a black flood. Demonic aura was rolling, and blood chi soared into the sky. The Green Flood Dragon army was instantly torn apart. Countless Green Flood Dragon army soldiers were killed by the long-armed giant apes, and some were even trampled into meat paste. Battle cries shook the sky. It was a complete one-sided suppression, especially with the long-armed ape king that was comparable to the peak of the sky realm. The Green Dragon army didn't have the slightest ability to resist. The sudden appearance of hundreds of long-armed giant apes gave He Fang a great shock, especially the long-armed ape king's terrifying aura. It scared him so much that his legs almost went soft. This was definitely a 6th-level demonic beast that was comparable to the sky realm. Moreover, it wasn't an ordinary 6th-level demonic beast. It possessed the bloodline of an immemorial beast and was extremely powerful. He Fong didn't expect Ling Xiao to have subdued such a terrifying 6th-level demonic beast. His whole body began to tremble. If he had known about the existence of the long-armed ape king, why would he still fight? He would just turn around and run. Wasn't that bullying? The long-armed ape king opened his mouth wide and revealed a sinister smile. His huge arm grabbed He Fong and threw him in front of Ling Xiao. He Fong did not even have the slightest ability to resist. Bang! Chapter 294. Ling Xiao stared coldly at He Fong. He grabbed He Fong's neck with one hand and lifted him into the air. Haha! He Fong's face flushed red as he felt a powerful Xiantian Gang Qi rush into his body, instantly shattering all his meridians, making him feel weak and powerless. His face flushed red, and his eyes were filled with fear. After you die, you can only blame yourself for being a member of the Wanshou sect and for messing with me. Ling Xiao's eyes were cold, and a strong killing intent flickered in them. A powerful aura burst out from his body, and he was about to kill He Fong. Rumble! At this moment, a terrifying wave of air exploded in the air. An old figure shot through the air. His face was filled with anxiety, and his gaze towards Ling Xiao was filled with rage and killing intent. Ling Xiao, if you dare to kill my son, I promise you that the entire demon mansion will be wiped out. The old man was He Qing. He Fong and Ling Yunxiang came to attack the demon mansion. It was supposed to be a foolproof plan. However, when He Qing felt a terrifying demonic aura from the demon mansion, he knew that things had gone south. He didn't expect to see Ling Xiao trying to kill He Fong as soon as he arrived. This made him go crazy. He Qing only had one son, He Fong. Since he was young, all kinds of resources had been given to him. He had spent a lot of time and effort to nurture him. He doted on this son of his to the extreme. If Ling Xiao killed He Fong, he would definitely go crazy. Father, He Fong's eyes were filled with surprise. He used all his strength to beg for help. Are you threatening me? Ling Xiao narrowed his eyes and sneered. So it's your son. No wonder he's such a useless piece of trash. However, I hate it when people threaten me. So, your son can only die. As soon as Ling Xiao finished speaking, He Qing's and He Fong's expressions changed drastically. Ling Xiao, how dare you? He Qing roared and slammed his palm down on Ling Xiao. The clouds in the sky gathered and covered the sky like a canopy, containing a terrifying power. Facing the attack of a celestial realm expert, Ling Xiao's expression didn't change. He was still cold and indifferent. A powerful force burst out from his hand and instantly broke He Fong's throat. He Fong's eyes were filled with disbelief and unwillingness. Pointing at Ling Xiao, he didn't even have time to say a word before he died. Bang! Ling Xiao didn't even move an inch. The giant long-armed ape beside him suddenly raised its head and looked at He Qing with its blood-red eyes. It punched the air and instantly, a muffled sound rang out. The giant palm was shattered and He Qing was also sent flying by the impact. Although He Qing was also a celestial realm expert, how could he be a match for the long-armed ape king? The long-armed ape king was already a demonic beast at the peak of the 6th rank, half a step away from becoming a 7th-rank demon king. He Qing's eyes turned red in an instant. The fire of anger in his eyes seemed to want to burn everything. His gaze towards Ling Xiao was filled with hatred and resentment. Ling Xiao, I will make you pay with your life. He Qing's eyes were filled with killing intent. Even though he wasn't a match for the long-armed ape king, he could tell that the long-armed ape king was strong. However, without reaching the demon king realm, there was no way he could fly. If he wanted to kill Ling Xiao, the long-armed ape king might not be able to protect Ling Xiao. Rumble! A terrifying aura spread out. He Qing's hair was disheveled and his face was ferocious. A strange long sword appeared in his hand. His cold killing intent locked onto Ling Xiao. Finally going berserk? Ling Xiao stared at He Qing. There was no fear in his eyes. His battle intent surged. The sky-devouring sword seemed to have sensed Ling Xiao's battle intent. In his dantian, it started to vibrate. Ling Xiao now had the confidence to challenge even a celestial realm expert. Therefore, he wasn't afraid of He Qing. Instead, he wanted to fight with He Qing to see where the limit of his combat strength was. He Qing, your mind is in a mess. At this moment, a sigh sounded in the void. With a flash of light in the void, an old man in a gray robe appeared. His hair and beard were all white, and he had the demeanor of a transcendent being. His aura was very ordinary. Just by standing in the void, he seemed to have become the center of the world. Noble realm? No, he's only a half step to the noble realm. Ling Zhao's eyes flashed. He felt a strong sense of danger. The old man in gray robe before him was like the ruler of the world. His aura could make the world tremble. To become a noble realm expert, one had to comprehend the laws of heaven and earth and control the will of heaven and earth. Secondly, one had to condense the martial path primordial spirit and become one with oneself. Although the old man in gray robe had the power to control the will of heaven and earth, he was still rejected by the will of heaven and earth. He hadn't completely condensed the martial path primordial spirit. Therefore, he was only a half step to the noble realm. However, even a half step to the noble realm expert was far stronger than a celestial realm expert. Elder Su, he is Ling Xiao. Elder Su, please help me kill him and avenge my son. When He Qing saw the gray-robed elder, his eyes were filled with surprise and joy as he hurriedly said. The old man in gray robe was named Su Liangqing. He was the first elder of the Wan Shou sect. He was second only to the supreme elders and the sect leader. He had a high position and was extremely powerful. A half step to the noble realm expert could defeat the entire Ba Huang ancient kingdom. Besides Su Liangqing, there was a young man in a black robe standing in the air. His eyes were like lightning, and his whole body was covered by a mysterious light. His black hair fluttered in the wind, and his aura was wild and aggressive. His eyes fell on Ling Xiao. Ling Xiao also looked at the black-robed young man and felt a strong battle intent emanating from him. Not a celestial realm expert? He is only at the peak of the 9th level of the supreme power realm, but he can fly in the air and guide the laws of heaven and earth. This black-robed young man obviously practiced a kind of powerful martial art, and obviously he has practiced it to the advanced level. Is he the Tiger King mentioned by He Fang? Ling Zhao's eyes flashed as he thought to himself. Ling Xiao, since you have agreed to a life-and-death battle with the Wan Shou sect, why did you kill our disciple? Do you really think that you can be so arrogant because of this bastard? Su Liangqing stood in the air and looked down at Ling Xiao. His eyes were cold and his voice was cold. With the Ape King's intelligence, he naturally understood that Su Liangqing was scolding him. He immediately bared his teeth at Su Liangqing and his body emitted a strong killing intent. A life-and-death battle? Since when did the Wan Shou sect know how to abide by the agreement? If I didn't come, I'm afraid that the Devil Mansion would have been destroyed by you. Since He Fang dared to attack the Devil Mansion, he should have been prepared to die. Ling Xiao laughed and his eyes were full of mockery. He looked at Su Liangqing without a trace of fear in his eyes. He had a natural temperament and his eyes were filled with fighting spirit. The long-armed giant apes seemed to have felt Ling Zhao's fighting spirit. They all roared loudly and their voices shook the sky. They beat their chests and an earth-shattering killing intent exploded. You're tuning in to the Passion Pages YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.